Peace, peace. What's the deal? You already know who it is. Asha Renu. We back up in here. What's good? What's good? What's good? Peace, peace. What's the deal? What's the deal? So, before I even go in, let me give y'all a quick update about what's going on with me personally before anyone asks any questions. And again, if nobody has any questions, of course, we got the book. We quote some scripture, and we'll see where we go from there. So, still on a fast. So all I'm doing is sipping. All I'm doing is sipping water and juice. Haven't ate no food, maybe over 48 hours. I just stopped keeping track of time. So 48 hours, no food, no solid food, just water and juice. Right now it's raining in Vegas. It's raining a little bit. So, we going through the purge, we're going through the siege, yet and still, you know what I mean? Yeah, if you have a question, go ahead and answer your question, you know what I mean? Peace. What's up, Marvin and Magi? What's the deal? What's the deal? We just letting everybody come in. But what's your question? Ask a question. You got any questions? Go ahead. You know what I mean? That's what we're here for. It's raining in LA too, so I guess it's raining on the West Coast. What's up, EMS girl? What's up? So like I said, we still going through the purge. We filtering the body, the mind, and the spirit. And before I answer your question, let me speak on something real fast. I see your question. I'll answer it in just a second. But I just want to speak briefly on. I've noticed. Since I fast so much, I start to notice that whenever I do an extended fast, it rains. I've noticed this because I've just been doing this for so long. I've noticed whenever I make my mind up to go to the next level, and most of the time when that happens, I may be fed up with a situation. I may not be feeling certain things, whatever the case is. So of course the first thing I do, I'm like, all right, if I want to cleanse anything, if I want to change anything, of course we have to start within ourselves. So I'm like, okay, if I don't like what's going on, then I have to fast. I have to meditate. I have to get my mind right. I have to organize my thoughts. So whenever I go through this process and fast, again, whether it's 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, it starts to rain. It's like I start to see the changes, not only within, but also on the outside. Now, just to be clear, I haven't really had any hunger pains either. It's just straight. I don't feel no hunger because I've just made it up in my mind. When you dedicate your willpower to anything, it's like nothing can stop you. So I feel like the chi or the prana is taking over because now that the body is not feeding on all these foods, which most of the stuff is bad for us anyway, but we already know that, right? So I'm just taking notes on whenever I make a huge decision, like a major change. Again, fasting is super major. For those who have fast, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's like I'm not going to say you're going against nature. You're actually going with nature because we are just in times where everybody feels like they have to use tools. And that's why I want to get out of that phase of depending too much on tools in terms of people feel like they need something other than themselves. Like you need a herb or you need a crystal or you need even a book. You don't need anything. You just have to allow the body to do its thing. It's just too many of us who don't trust our own beings, where we're going to go out and spend our money on something we really don't need due to fear. Because like I said, most people, because they have no knowledge of the human body, the human spaceship, because they have no knowledge, whenever things start to not go right, like I said, they may feel pain in their body or they may get hunger pains and all that. The first thing they do is get afraid. get afraid, the first thing they do is feel fear. That's why people will not fast for 3 days. They will not fast for 72 hours. They can do everything else, though. They can spend their money on all these other things. They will do everything else but do what they need to do. So I'm just looking at things like, again, as much as I talk about fasting, as much as I talk about all the stuff that I talk about, you know what I mean? I don't see people really taking their spirituality seriously. That's why I'm making these videos, punching. All right, I was about to go in, punching people in the chest like, yo, don't let this go to your head just because you may feel like you're on a path that you don't have to put in that real work. You still have to put in work. You actually have to put in more work when you're spiritual. You have to go even harder. Like, life doesn't become easier when you walk this path. It becomes harder because you have dedicated your life to living within certain rules and limitations so that you can keep your connection with the voice of wisdom or with spirit, whatever you want to call it. That takes work. You don't just get to do whatever you want and expect to get results. But again, you know what I mean? Too many people are sleeping with the enemy. Too many people are in relationships that they don't want to be in. Too many people are in living situations that they don't want to be in. Too many people are at jobs that they don't want to be. And we already know if you don't do anything that you don't want to do, that you can't put 100% of your whole self into. You know what I mean? You're wasting your time and everybody else's time. You know what I mean? Like, you can go to any store and there's always somebody in there who don't want to be there. So, you know what I mean? So they emit this frequency to you. You know what I mean? Like, they don't speak. They're not courteous. You know what I mean? You exchanging money, whatever, and you just dealing with people's attitudes and emotions because they don't want to be there and they're doing things that they don't want to do. So they're emitting that frequency on you when they don't even have to be there. They feel like they have to. But that's because their mind and their thoughts are not organized. So I'm just making it clear. When you dedicate your life, meaning you have to dedicate your life to this. You know what I mean? Like, you have to be willing to die for this. Like, it's really that serious. The same way a game banger is willing to die for his set, the same way Jesus or Jesus was willing to die. It's like you have to have that level of dedication. Like it literally has to be a life or death thing, because you know if you start following everybody else, they will lead you to destruction. And of course, I got some scriptures to back up everything I'm saying. I just turned it to a random page. So we're gonna be reading from Jeremiah, the 23rd chapter. But before we get into that, like I said, I'm gonna answer the question. If y'all have any questions, so just ask your questions before we get in, and feel free to ask whatever questions at any point during the video. So let me get to the question that was asked before. The question is, do you know anything about Papa Legba? Yes. Now, without going too deep into it, Papa Legba, which goes by many, many, many different names. Some people may call it Elegba, you know what I mean? The trickster spirit, the Mercury spirit, Solbeck, Tahuti, etc., so on and so forth. Depending on what tradition you're coming from, it goes by different names. But if you look up trickster spirit, you're going to find Papa Legba. Now, why is he considered a trickster spirit? It's exactly what I'm talking about now. For example, let me give you a prime example why Papa Legba is a trickster spirit. Because a lot of people are afraid to work with him, because I believe his colors are like red and black. You know what I mean? It may be different colors, again, depending on the tradition you're coming from. So a lot of people are like, well, why would I want to work with a trickster spirit? You know, or they're just going to trick you. Like, why would you even give your energy to that? Now, another way to consider this energy is the opener of the way. Because this is also the spirit or the messenger. Whenever you're dealing with a Mercury spirit, you're dealing with the messenger of God. You're dealing with these messengers. Or you pretty much, like with the whole Jesus or the Jesus thing, you have to go through Jesus to get to God. Meaning you have the source, then you have the messenger. So for those who are not connected to the source, then they must listen to the messenger. Now, people may not know how to connect with the source, which is why they listen to the messenger, which helps them connect directly to the source. Now, going back to the trickster spirit, why is Papa Legba or Elegba, why is it considered a trickster spirit? What is the whole premise of this? This is all due to most people are not sincere in what they are requesting. What do I mean by that? Meaning, for example, let's just say you ask the spirits for money because you got to pay your bills or whatever. You got bills coming up. You do a ritual, a money spell or a love spell, whatever you do, right? And you want to work with a trickster spirit. Now, you may do the ritual and it may work. The ritual may work. You may get what you were asking for. But you don't end up in the situation you may have thought you would have ended up in. Let me make myself clear. For example, you may receive the money, but it may be taken away from you in a whole different way. What do I mean? You may get the money that you requested, but you have to use it for a different reason. So you don't get to utilize it the way that you thought you was going to utilize it. Now, why would something like that happen? The reason why these things happen is because most people are not sincere in what they're requesting. Now what? Okay, let me go even further. Like, okay, I need money for my bills or whatever. I'm sincere in what I'm asking. Like, yo, I really need this money to pay these bills or, whatever the situation where I'm really trying to do this love spell to strengthen my relationship or to attract a partner to myself. Is that not sincere? Now, on the surface, yes, it is very sincere. But the deeper issue is not being dealt with. Now, what do I mean by the deeper issue? The deeper issue is the reason why we are dealing with all these blockages. The reason why you have a money block or a love block to the point where you will even want to do a ritual in the first place is not being dealt with. So you're just trying to cover up something that is not being dealt with beyond the surface, and the problem is not truly fixed. What do I mean? You do a spell, it works. So what are you going to do the next time you need some money? You're going to try to do another spell. The next time you need some money, you're going to try to do another spell. The next time you're doing this, doing that. You start to depend on these deities. It's like you actually low-key start worshiping these deities when they're supposed to be your servants. Then you end up becoming a servant because you're not dealing with the deeper issue. The deeper issue is there is a blockage that needs to be opened. Or a door is closed and it needs to be opened. So you're not dealing with the blockage. You're dealing with, you're dealing with the result. Okay, I need the money. You're not dealing with, okay, well, how do I open up the blockage so that the money can flow naturally? Because we all have access to money. Or we all have access to people. You can walk outside of your door and meet somebody. You can work any job. There's millions and millions of ways to get money. There's millions of ways to meet people. You see people every day. But because people have already made up in their mind that things are supposed to happen in a certain way, the true issue is never being dealt with, which is putting in that real work, like I was saying earlier. So instead of people putting in that real work, they would rather a spirit do it for them. So the spirit, specifically the trickster spirit, knows this. The trickster spirit knows that, okay, there's a deeper issue here and you're just dealing with the surface. So I'm going to give you what you asked for, but I'm going to teach you a lesson at the same time. That's the whole purpose of a trickster spirit. Trickster spirit hears the call and may grant the wish, but you're going to have to learn the lesson like, yo, this is not what you should be doing every time you come and you have to face an issue. Don't call on me when you need help. Call on me when you good. It's the same way. It's the same way with human beings. Don't call my phone when you need something. Call my phone when you good. Because if all you do is call my phone when you need something, eventually I'm going to stop answering the phone because you only call when you need something. You don't call when everything is good and you just let me know you good. And we build up a bond that way to the point where I don't need nothing from you and you don't need nothing from me. We come together because we have a mutual bond and everybody is able to support themselves. Or we can work together to make something else greater happen. So most people deal with these trickster spirits on such a low level that they never really build a bond with the spirit because they only call them when they need something. Most people don't work with a trickster spirit just to build up a bond with the spirit. So because there's no bond, it's like calling like, oh, yo, I need help, I need help, I need help. Like, yo, you ain't called me in 6 months. Yo, I ain't spoke to you in a year. You just call me, you need help? Like, yo, where you been at the last year? Why we ain't never did no business? Why we ain't never made no agreements? How come you ain't never been over to the crib? Why we ain't never smoked out? Or whatever, you know what I mean? Had a drink. Just why we ain't never had no fun? Why are you calling me when you're desperate? And again, most people start doing these type of things when they're desperate. They're not doing it to learn and to just know. Like, yo, let me just get familiar with this energy and build a bond and a connection with this energy just because I want to, not because I need something from it. Remember, they are your servants. You don't call on your servants whenever you need something, because in reality, you are giving it the power. It can't work without your powers because, as we know, most people, they may have it up here, but they don't have it in here. What do I mean by that? Most people got all this knowledge and information roaming in their head because somebody also asked, how do you organize your thoughts? And I'll answer that right now. Most people got so much information and knowledge in their head, but they truly don't operate on faith. What is faith? Faith is the substance of things hoped for. People don't even know what that means, right? I'll say it one more time. Faith is the substance of things hoped for. So because everybody, again, we're in an age of information, and that's another thing I want to point out as well. This is where most people don't really deal with this aspect of it, but I'll deal with it right now. We are in the age of information. This is correct. But we're also in the age of the Kali Yuga. Most people are like, what, the Kali Yuga? The Kali Yuga is basically when people are at their most dumbest or dumbed down state. So look at how these dynamics work. So we're in the age of information, but we're also in the age of the Kali Yuga. And the Kali Yuga is when pretty much while most people have lost their way. They have no idea how to connect back to the source. They're completely lost. But we're also in the age of information. So you got everybody thinking that, okay, all I got to do is get some information and I can build my connection with source. But the information that you have access to, you don't truly understand because you don't have it in here. You got it up here. You don't have it in here. You don't have faith, but you got it up here. So, okay, let me, again, people are basically con artists. People are just getting into the age of information because they're trying to get something out of it. They're not learning the knowledge of self just to know the knowledge of self. They're trying to learn the information to get something out of it. Now, yes, eventually the knowledge has to be applied, which is wisdom. Wisdom is applied knowledge. You have to apply it. However, when people try to apply this knowledge, not truly understanding what they're doing, because they never gave themselves time to truly be students of the information. They gain the information, meaning that you may read a book trying to gain information, but you never gave yourself time to marinate with the information and to truly learn and to create a bond with the information. You just want to utilize, okay, I'm going to read this book, or, like for example, we'll use a book, Think and Grow Rich. That's a popular book. Pretty much everybody has at least heard about this book if they have not read it. So you have a book like Think and Grow Rich. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, right? Classic book. Most people read that book because they're trying to get rich. They're not reading the book to become familiar with the philosophy of the book and why that philosophy works. They're trying to get rich. They're not trying to understand the philosophy of wealth. Which, if you truly understood the philosophy of wealth and why it works, then it will work for you without you having to even read the book. Maybe I'm going over people's heads. Let me say that again, or in a different way. Most people are gathering information because they're trying to utilize it. So they read a book, then they try to implement it. Not ever giving themselves enough time to meditate on, okay, why does this work? They're not asking why does it work. They're just trying to use whatever the techniques that are laid out in the book. Okay, let me do this, let me do this, let me do this. But they had never built up no faith. So they got all this information swirling around, all this new information, but they never gave themselves time for the information to marinate and hear and to move in faith. They never gave themselves enough time. So what is the end result? The end result is you probably have millions upon millions upon millions of people who read that book but were unsuccessful. You probably have a very, very, very small percentage of people who actually benefited from it big time. The difference between those small few and everybody else is they gave themselves time to marinate on the philosophy of why does this work. I don't care what's in the book. Why does it work? Instead of me trying to just implement the techniques outlined in the book, why does this work? Why does these techniques work? Instead of me just actually doing it without marinating on, okay, well, why does this work? What is the science behind this? What is the, how is a book like this even able to be written? And where is the source that they're pulling from? Where did he learn his information? And where did that person learn their information, and so on and so forth? Most people are not doing their history on that anyway. They're just reading the book. They're not thinking, where did he get his information, and how can I show and prove that this information is accurate, other than just implementing the techniques? Because you may have some people that implement the techniques and they work, but they don't know why it works. For example, you got a lot of people who work with spirits and energies, and they may get results, but they don't know why it works. Why does it work instead of it works? Like, okay, boom, I did a money spill, it worked. Why did it work? To understand why it worked, you need time to meditate on the philosophy of why these things work. But again, if their thoughts don't penetrate that deeply into the ethers, they will just be another person following a religion. So hopefully that makes sense. Let me see, let me scroll down. Let me see. How do I know if I'm manifesting something or if I'm psychic? Well, we all are psychic first and foremost. Like again, there's so many. Everybody wants to feel special, right? Everybody wants to feel like they can do something that everybody else can't. We are all spiritual. We are all psychic. We all have infinite potential. First and foremost, that's something that we all have. We all have that potential, but it has to be developed, which is what I'm talking about. We all have the potential, but you must develop the potential. So the other question was, how do you know if you're manifesting? Well, we are creators by nature. So we manifest every second of our existence. We manifest every single moment because we are creating our reality, right? We let that go past. So this is what I'm saying. We're in the mentality of thinking that the only time we're manifesting is if we are consciously manifesting, which is not the case. Manifestation takes place in the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is controlling all this. The conscious, you're just using your conscious mind to penetrate into the subconscious mind. However, people say, well, if I'm not consciously thinking about it, then I'm not manifesting. You're manifesting on autopilot every single day. Because that is our nature. We are creators by nature. People just start consciously manifesting once they come into this knowledge. But that don't take away that we are creators already. We are psychic beings already. And you see how this information starts to get twisted and tampered with, mixed and diluted. You know what I mean? Got people thinking that they're special. Like, no, nobody's special. It's what makes a person special if they actually put in the work. And they gain an understanding. Once they have applied that knowledge and it became wisdom, and they start putting in that work in real time, then they start to understand why it works. More so than, okay, for example, instead of you passing somebody else that Think and Grow Rich book that you read, like, okay, I read this book, it works. Here, you take this book. You don't pass them the book you read. You share the philosophy. Like, yo, I'm not gonna pass you no book. I'm gonna share with you directly, spirit to spirit, why these things work and the philosophy behind it. And I can give you personal techniques. Because now that I understand how it works, I don't have to follow the book anymore, rule by rule, line by line. I can create something unique because I understand the philosophy behind it. Because I understand the philosophy behind it, I don't need the book, and I don't need to give somebody else a book. I can just tell them directly. This is the type of mentality you need to achieve whatever you're trying to achieve. But again, most people are just throwing books all over the place because they truly don't understand. So because they don't understand, the only thing they can do is give the book that they read. But if you say, like, yo, put that in your own words. What have you done? Have you done anything outside of it? What type of experiments have you done? You know what I mean? It's going to be hard for them to answer the question. You know? So that's the answer to your question. What's up, Dragon OG? So hold on. So would not it better to ask for understanding of money rather than money? I would say so. I would say, for one, you're not asking. Let's get that clear. Again, these are energies that are under you. So, as a parent, you don't ask your children for anything. You give them everything. So you are giving life to these spirits. You're not asking them for nothing. You are awakening a certain part of your own brain that's named Elegba. That's an aspect of our own mind that's being brought to the surface. So you're not asking for anything. You are giving your energy, and that energy is working through the vessel of the Elegba or the Papa Legba, whatever the spirit is. The spirit is just a vessel for your energy to work, not the other way around. Again, people bring that religious mentality into real spiritual work and wonder why it's not really working the way they want it to work. You can't look at these spirits like you look at a Jesus Christ, or you look at a Allah, or you look at somebody worshiping, on their hands and knees. You literally got people worshiping these spirits on their hands and knees, not knowing like, yo, this is an aspect of your own mind. You're just becoming familiar. So it's the aspect of our mind that, like I said before, because the true issue is not being dealt with, they're looking for all these other tools. They need a bunch of crystals. They need a bunch of books. They need a bunch of spells. You don't need any of that. You just need to understand how you work. Because somebody can tell you the philosophy of wealth, but you have to implement it based on how you work. I can't do the same thing that Napoleon Hill did. I don't work like Napoleon Hill works. I can't do the same thing that whoever the popular person is writing books today. I don't work the same way that they work. My mind doesn't operate the same way their mind works. So even though they wrote the book, I still have to figure out, how do I implement this based on the way I work and my mind works. So this is why it's so much confusion, because everybody's trying to follow suit and their mind doesn't even work like that. I can't do the same thing somebody else does. They may be 6'7". I can't do the same thing that somebody who's 6'7" can do. Just like I can't do the same thing somebody who's 4'11" can do. Everybody's situation is different. So we have to learn how to utilize our own personal situation. You know what I mean? But again, everybody be acting goofy. You know what I mean? But again, that's why I'm here to straighten all this stuff out. What's up? What's up? What's up? Let me see. What's up? What's up? I see everybody in here. Okay. I see you. Shout out, shout out. I see everybody leaving the comments. I see y'all. Let me see. What does it say? So I have been conflicted between spirituality and religion. The physical aspect of going to church. With everything so far that I have heard, is it necessary to still attend? That's a personal decision. Like, for example, like, I would go to church, but I wouldn't be in there the same reason that everybody else is in there. Everybody else is in there to hear the word of God. I might be in there looking at legs and up skirts. So my intentions may be different. I'm in there though, but I don't care what that pastor is saying. I'm like, when you had a knowledge of yourself, it is what it is. You know what I mean? Once you know how you work, can't nobody else tell you how you work. Once you know how you work, then you work yourself. You work your magic because you know how you work. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I don't really care about what somebody else is saying. I just need to figure out how I work. When I figure out how I work, then I work my magic. You know what I mean? So if you want to go to church, no problem. You know what I mean? So this is what I mean is everybody has their own reasons. So you don't really need to make it a conflict thing. Again, if some people just like the social setting, some people like going to church because they like having a sense of belonging to a crowd. They may like the people in the church. You know what I mean? You may have known these people for 10, 20, 30 years. It may be a different connection. And if that's the case, so be it. You know what I mean? So again, everybody don't go to church to hear the word of God. You know what I mean? So you may see me sitting in the church, but you already know what I'm doing. You know what I mean? Like I may even still be listening. But my mind be somewhere else. How do you build up faith? Again, listen to the definition of what faith is. I'll say it one more time because I know that may go over people's heads. Because again, people's telling all these things. People purposely confuse you. That's why so many people are confused. People are confused on purpose. Because all this out here is based on truth, but even understand what they're talking about. Let me say that again. You have a lot of people who have come into contact with truth, but they don't even understand the source of it. So you got all these people writing these books and sharing this information, but they don't even understand the source of the information. They're just trying to interpret and give their own interpretation of the truth. That's all they're doing. They're just giving their own interpretation. They don't truly understand the source information. They don't even understand what source material is. You know what I mean? So, once again, faith is the substance of things hoped for. The substance. That means that's something tangible. The substance of things hoped for. Well, what is this substance of things hoped for? See, you know what I mean? I'll let you ponder on that. I'm not going to reveal all the secrets, but I'm just giving you the path. I gave you enough so you can figure it out on yourself, by yourself. You know? So, let's see what else we got. You are the church? Yes, we definitely. The human body is the church. The human body is the temple, first and foremost. So now that we understand that, that's what I'm saying. So if you want to go to church, go. But you know, but you are the temple, you are the church. But you all know this already, right? Hopefully you know it by now. Peace, peace, peace and love. I see you, Sierra. Peace and love, peace. What's up, Afro Pick? You just woke up from a nap? You was about to go back to sleep? Well, you know, you can always watch this later. There's no need to watch it now. You know what I mean? Just catch it whenever you need to. I know everybody got their own lives, everybody on their own schedule. You know what I mean? It's 3 hours. You know, if you're on the East Coast, I don't know what time it is, you know what I mean? So do what you can. You know, I still appreciate everybody for tuning in. Okay. Yeah, definitely meditate. Definitely meditate on that statement. You know what I mean? That's why I didn't want to just directly answer the question, because if you allow yourself to meditate, then you will receive the answer. But you received it because you meditated on it, not because I told you. You know what I mean? Again, I'm not here to tell all the secrets, but I'm here to guide you. Like, yo, meditate on it. Meditate on that parable. And you see what comes to you personally directly from spirit. And you act on that, what the spirit tells you. The spirit may not tell me the same thing it tells you, because we are different. You know, our minds work different. So we have to learn how we work. Okay. Can a lack of spiritual energy or energy vampirism stop spiritual experiences and psychic abilities from happening? If so, how do we build and regain our energy? Basically, what drains our energy is us doing things that we don't want to do, first and foremost. You gain energy doing things you want to do, right? When you having sex, let's just be real. That don't drain your energy. That amplifies your energy because you want to do it. You know what I mean? You love your partner, or you're in lust with whoever you're in lust with, whatever the case may be. You know, everybody does their own thing. So what drains the energy is doing things that we don't want to do, or trying to do things that we don't understand. You know what I mean? We're trying to do stuff and we don't even understand the foundation of what we're trying to do. Again, I've asked this question a long time ago. Well, not a long time ago, maybe last year. But that's a long time for me. I asked a question. I think the video I did was when I was in New York. I did a video called How to Be a Devil on Earth. And in that video I asked, who was the first person to say the law of attraction? Because everybody knows about the law of attraction, but who was the founder of that? Nobody can answer the question. I believe I revealed who it is. I'm not going to reveal who it is now, because, again, you have to ponder on it. I encourage everybody to do their own research. So everybody's using law of attraction, law of attraction, law of attraction. Don't even know who was the first person to say it. And what did they think about it, and how did they explain it? Because they didn't explain it the way Napoleon Hill explained it, and they didn't explain it the same way whoever wrote it was a whole different way of explaining it. So who was the founder and what was their opinions? The law of attraction. How did they discover the attraction? What is their definition of the law of attraction? Meaning the first person who started saying that. Well, everybody else just took the thing and ran with it, and they started bringing their own interpretations, which are just diluted forms of the original. So, to answer your question, how do you build up your energy if you feel drained? Again, if you don't want to fast, then you must go into meditation. Pranayama. Practice pranayama, which is basically deep breathing. Sit down somewhere and deep breathe for 20 minutes and you're going to get your energy back. We just need to breathe. Most people are not breathing correctly. First and foremost, they're not breathing correctly. They don't even know how to count the rhythms of the breath. They don't even know how to count the beats of their heart and fuse that with how they breathe. You know what I mean? It's a whole different lifestyle. See, people, this is what I mean. We all have heard all this stuff, right? But it's so simple that people take it for granted. So when people say, yo, go meditate, go count your breaths, people take that for granted. It's so simple, but it's so effective. It's just so simple that people are looking for a more complex answer. Oh no, that can't be the answer. That's a little bit too simple. It's really not complex, but we try to make it more complex because we feel like it got to be more to it. And it's really not. It's really not no more to it. You have to change the cycles of your breath. For example, breathe in for 12 seconds, hold your breath for 24 seconds, then exhale for 18 seconds. Most people is going to have a hard time doing that continuously, especially outside of meditation, meaning you training your mind to breathe like that automatically. So you may have to start breathing like that with meditation, like you're doing it, you're forcing yourself to doing it, or you're consciously breathing. But doing that on a subconscious level, which takes time, changing the rhythm of your breath takes some time. But again, everybody else is trying to figure out, what business do I need to invest in? Or I need to do something with Bitcoin. Or I need to look for this job. Or I need to do this. No, they're not doing anything. Because the thing, again, they're going right past the true problem, which is the breath. Then they're trying to do something else. Oh, I need to do this. You need to sit down and recalibrate the way that you breathe. But if you tell somebody that, like, because they think stuff needs to be more complicated or complex, so it goes right over their head. But that's why it's so much confusion, because nobody wants to keep things simple. You know what I mean? So what happens after we end the reincarnation process? Nothing, really. You just do what you do what you want to do. Like, if you're not reincarnated, that means you're one with the all. When you are one with the all, you don't even have a sense of individuality. See, that's the thing. Like, again, it's just, it goes right over people's heads. Again, they think that it has to be something more complex. Like, okay, well, when you drop your body and you don't come back, well, what happens? You become one with the all, and you don't even have a sense of individuality. For some people, that's scary. Oh, I don't have a sense of individuality, or all I know is my ego, all I know is myself. You don't even think in those terms no more. You're actually not even thinking. You're just one with the flow of the universe. You just become like another particle or another atom in the grander scheme of things, which we already are. But again, because we're dealing with people with inflated egos, they think they more than what they are. Because all you truly have to do is study the nature of spirit, or study the nature of prana, or study the nature of chi, and you will know more about yourself than any book can tell you, than anybody who knows about business or this or that, any expert in any field. They can't tell you how you work, but you can figure that out. That's why it's called knowledge of self. Not knowledge of the world, not knowledge of business, not knowledge of other people, not knowledge of what's going on in the world and how do we fix it. it's knowledge of self. Because if you know yourself, you will know everything within the universe. But if you're trying to know the universe, which is what most people are doing, they're trying to learn everything under the sun. A jack of all trades, but a master of none. Master yourself, and you will have mastery over everything else. You know, it's really that simple. It's not a simple process, but it is really that simple. You have to know yourself and how you work so that you can put into action the best way for you. You know what I mean? Again, we have to operate based on who we are. Everybody has a different DNA connection to the source. What do I mean by that? Some people may have came from Pleiades. Some people may have came from Sirius. Some people may have came from Draco. Some people may have came from Orion. You know what I mean? Some people may have came from who knows? Scorpio, Scorpion, you know what I mean? Whatever. Everybody is here for a specific reason. And you have to figure that out. Can't nobody tell you that. You must go within. And that's my point. I don't care how many books you read. I don't care how many YouTube videos you watch. They cannot tell you how you work. They can just give you insight into this is what you need to do. But again, most people are not doing that. They're trying to make money. Because they're trying to make money, they're going to tell you a bunch of stuff that is irrelevant to you. But when a person keeps it simple, like, yo, just learn yourself, knowledge of self. And now you don't need to pay, you don't need to give somebody money for that. But you know what I mean? Everybody's trying to sell something, right? So when they're not going to give you the actual facts. They're just trying to sell their products and make their money. You know, everybody got their little hustle going on. It is what it is. You know, but you have to navigate around that. So, what would I recommend anyone just starting out their spiritual journey? Any books or videos? No, yeah. I can give you a list of books. I can give you a list of videos. But as I would encourage you to learn yourself. First and foremost, you don't need a book. You don't need a video. You just need to know how you work. But if you must have a book, because I could just say, yeah, read this and find yourself in this. But if you need a book, The Amazing Secrets of the Yogi by Charles Hannell. The Amazing Secrets of the Yogi. Get that. You don't need nothing else. Get that. You know? Secrets from the yogis. You know what I mean? Get that. And you will be good. Implement those techniques within that literature. You will be just fine. You won't need another book unless you just want to, keep your knowledge going for your own sake. Okay. How would you recommend that person finding knowledge of self? Where is the starting point? You have to trust yourself. Most people don't trust themselves. For example, if you can't hear the spirit of wisdom, you're not gonna have a sense of who and what you are. For example, you're not gonna know who you are when you eating the wrong foods, spiritually, mentally, and physically. It's just not gonna happen. That's why the world is the way it is. That's why everybody is walking around here like zombies, because they eating the wrong foods, physically, mentally, and spiritually. Physically, destroyed diets, have no control over their eating habits. Mentally, all they do is entertain themselves. They're not giving their mind no type of mental exercise, no type of mental gymnastics. And spiritually, they don't have access to the spirit realm because you can't have access to the spirit realm eating the wrong foods and just filling your mind up with nonsense, just strictly entertainment. Just giving your energy to entertainment, but giving no energy to yourself. You know what I mean? So you must start the right foods physically, mentally, and spiritually. Then things start to open up naturally. That's what's holding people back. This is why I say whenever you fast, stop eating physical foods, because most of the foods that we're eating is leveling down our energy because of all these hormones and all these chemicals in the food. You really think you can hear the voice of wisdom? Eating the wrong food is not going to happen. And you can't hear the voice of wisdom if you don't study yourself. Because that's the only reason you read books, is to learn about yourself, the human body, the way the mind works, the way the brain works. So that's the starting point. Start eating the right foods physically, mentally, and spiritually. If you want to know what the right foods are, get the book How to Eat to Live, Part 1 and Part 2 by Elijah Muhammad. And the whole basis is no meat, no starch, no dairy. So the only thing you're really eating is fruits and veggies. So the American diet is shot. That's why the American diet is the way it is. What do you got on? What is it? Meat and potatoes. Then the vegetable is like the least. You know what I mean? You eating a big burger with potatoes and French fries and all these fried foods. It fries your mind. You ain't going nowhere. You ain't going nowhere with the American diet. You're not going nowhere. You're just not, it's just not going to happen. So fix your diet, which helps you to organize your thoughts. Once you can properly organize your thoughts, it's going to open up the gateways to the spirit so that you can actually start to listen. Listen to the spirit. You must listen. In order to listen, you have to meditate. You have to breathe properly. When you start to meditate, which is listening and breathing properly, then the voice of wisdom and the voice of spirit can speak to you and you can hear it. Most of the time, the information is too clouded because people's third eyes are calcified. You know what I mean? It's just all the information that you receive is just clouded and diluted, and you can't really interpret it properly because, again, you have to look at your body as the church or the temple, as we were talking about earlier. Treat your body as such, treat your mind as such, and treat your spirit as such, and you will get that back. You give what you receive. Cause and effect, as above, so below. Right? Okay. So you already know. Yeah, you already know. I should write a book. I should. I should write a book. But like my pen game hasn't been on point. Because it's like I don't know. I guess my mind is just working so fast. It's like the pen is too slow. My mind working a little too fast to even write anything down. I would just have to record. I would have to record, and somebody takes that audio file and puts it into words. Because I believe that's how a lot of yogis do it. Like a lot of yogis don't use no pen and pad or type on no computer. They just speak, and it's translated into the written word. So I think I have to do it like that. Because I believe there's software. I believe it's called Dragon something. I had the software years ago where you can just speak into the mic and the program translate it into actual words. I would have to do something like that, but taking a pen and pad or typing on a computer is just a little bit too tedious. So yeah, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, maybe I have to do that because I will be getting a lot more done because it's just the pen is just too slow for me. Hermes are definitely another version of Tahuti or Elegba. What's up, Brianna? We just cooling. It's raining today. I don't think it's still raining now, but We coolin'. We still on our fast. You know what I mean? I haven't ate nothing in over 48 hours. I know to some people that's just, you know, that's a miracle, right? Willpower conquers all. You know, willpower conquers all. You can do whatever you put your mind to. Right? So even if I eat something right after this video, like it took 50 hours of no food. You know what I mean? It's not a lot of people that can say that. But you know, I'm going to go as long as I can. There's a mudra that works well for bringing in pranayama energy. Yeah, there are mudras, but you don't need them. They just assist. But mudras, again, it's like a tool. It's just an extra tool. Use it if you want to, but do you need it? No, you don't need it. But if you want to use it, you can. Which is basically, you know, the point. For people who don't know what a mudra is, it's basically this. So when you see people doing this, people meditating like this, that's a mudra. Doing this is a mudra. You know what I mean? So when you know, your fingertips are like portals. You know, your fingertips are like portals. Again, it's just another, you can do it. You can try it out. Meditate with this. Meditate doing this. Meditate doing this. Meditate doing this. And just see the difference. It works. So I'm not saying it doesn't work. But, you know, it's like something added on top of the breathing. The first and most important thing is the breath. So before you start doing anything else to get your breathing on point, then you start to make it more and more advanced by adding mudras. You know what I mean? Then concentrating your mind on certain things and making your thoughts more vivid and lucid. You know, but the first thing you must do is get your breathing on point before you start doing all this extra stuff. Because it is just extra. Because if you start doing all this other stuff without having your breathing on point, then you won't be successful. And we done already been on here a full hour. You know, time just be flying. I mean, I really just sat down. I don't know how we been here a whole hour already. Let me see. The realist on YouTube, you know. I don't disagree, even though I know I'm not gonna inflate my ego, but I don't disagree. But the reason that is just because I tell y'all the truth. That's all it is. Everybody else, you know, they just trying to make money off you. So I guarantee anybody who has got any work from me, anybody who's ever got a natal chart done or whatever, you know that I didn't just interpret it. I taught you how to interpret it yourself. That's the difference. You know what I mean? So whenever you get any service done from me, I'm teaching you the science instead of just interpreting it for you. Oh, this is what this means. This is what this means. No, once I interpret it, you know how to do it yourself. So you don't ever need to call me again. See, that's, again, like you just got people who want people to keep coming back to them. Coming back. That's why they got to keep putting out products, because they want people to keep coming back. I teach you how to do it yourself. You ain't never got to call me again, because it was just an even exchange. I gave something to you, then I received. You know what I mean? You don't ever have to contact me again unless you choose, because you're gonna leave fulfilled. You're not gonna leave like I gave you a rock of crack, and you smoked it. Then 20 minutes later, you're gonna be right back asking for another rock. It's like, you know what I mean? But that's how some people treat it. They treat it like the drug game. I'm like, yo, I'm giving you the full course meal, and you know what I mean? You come back if you want to come back. It's the same thing where, what do they say? You can either give a man a fish or teach him how to fish. Because if you give a man a fish, every time he's hungry, he's gonna come back to you for more fish. Then if you teach him how to fish, then you show him how to be a real man. Most people, business, is just giving people fish till they need another fish and they gotta come back. I'm teaching you how to be real. I'm teaching you how to fish. You do it. You know what I mean? Fuck me. It ain't about me. I'm teaching you how to get your shit on point. That's why you don't see me. I don't even advertise my services or products. I'm like, okay, check out my website, do that. You do it if you want to. Do it if you want to. You don't gotta do it because I said it. But again, That's when you're really putting in the work, because you know that the universe or your higher self or, you know, the God within will take care of you. And you don't have to manipulate people. You don't have to deceive, because you will be good. You know what I mean? You will be good. Like, I haven't had a job since like 2014. It's been like, I don't know how long. It's been like 3 to 4 years. I'm just fine. But I had to have faith. I didn't have a plan B. I didn't have a backup plan. But I had to go at the moment. And I'm not telling people to quit their job. You do what you must. Do what you must. Keep your bills paid. Again, it ain't about following me. I'm just giving you the tools so that you can follow yourself. And I'm just, you know, it is what it is, you know. Enough of that. Enough about me. Let's answer these questions. What would you say are some of your personal flaws or internal challenges? Well, my personal flaws is, you know, like every other man, you know, I just, you know, if I want to be real, you know, I like women. I like women. You know, not to the point where I'm going out, you know, having random sex with random people. I'm not saying I'm doing that. I'm not penetrating these women, but I like women, you know. So whenever I see one, you know, that spark my interest, you know, I get a smile on my face, you know. I guess some people are like, oh, that's just natural. But you know, that's something that, because I'm fasting now, it don't affect me now. You know, now that I'm fasting, I'm like, yeah, I can just look through people. You know, but when I got them chemicals flowing in my body, when I'm not eating right, then it be getting kind of crazy. Then the internal challenges is, you know, when you walk this path, you pretty much alone. You know what I mean? You pretty much alone. You on your own. You a grown ass man or you a grown ass woman. You on your own. You can't depend on nobody. And you literally only can depend on your own energy source. Again, you can't depend on somebody to give you money. You can't depend on somebody to give you a job. You can't depend on somebody to give you a donation. All those are gifts, but you can't depend on it. You literally are a grown ass man and a grown ass woman. But since I'm talking about me, it matures you. When you walk alone, it matures you, so you don't depend on what everybody else depend on, because your mind has transcended. Now, again, I'm not saying what I'm doing is the right thing to do either. It ain't the right thing. It's just, this is just what I did, you know. Because people wonder, like, how do you get all this information? I mean, it ain't from books. It's from personal experience. I had to literally go out there and take a risk. Because you have to, you know, when you are an entrepreneur, that's the popular term now. When you are an entrepreneur, you got to take risk. You don't get to depend on safety nets. You don't get to depend on a set wage, like you're going to get paid the same amount. I don't get the luxuries of those. I don't have that luxury where I can just depend on a safety net. I don't have a safety net. So I have to literally have to go out and take risk. You know what I mean? But it's not for everybody. That's why everybody has to work their magic the way that they work it. You know what I mean? I'm just a messenger. You know what I mean? You ain't got to do what I do. Do what you do, whatever that may be. Because again, I'm not here to judge nobody. I'm not here to make nobody feel bad. I'm just sharing my personal experience. You know, so take it as such. Let me see. What are good methods to retain consciousness during astral projection? It's just more so you have to build up enough energy before you astral project. Most people can't retain consciousness because they don't have enough energy. So that's why you have to practice pranayama before you go to bed. 20 minutes, 30 minutes of pranayama before you go to bed will help you retain consciousness. But again, you have to have enough energy. You have to have enough energy. Without the energy, also read the book Astral Dynamics by Robert Bruce. Read the book Astral Dynamics. You can just type that in Amazon. You know what I mean? Do what you do. So there's a reference for that. You say food chemicals are an issue, but you've also said it's mind over matter. Those are both correct. Now let's put it into proper context. Is it mind over matter? Yes, because this whole world is an illusion. It's a projection of your mind. This is true. However, just because it's mind over matter don't mean you make things harder for yourself. What do I mean by that? Yes, it's mind over matter, but do you really want to make things harder for yourself if you don't have to? For example, there are people that still eat meat. Just because you eat meat, does that make you unspiritual? No, because we are spiritual beings by nature. Just because you eat meat, does that mean you can't astral project? No, you can't. I've done it. Eating fries. I've had spiritual experience eating fries and beef, all that, you know what I mean? So I've done it. So you can do it the way you want to do it. However, at some point, we know that if you keep going down that path without proper nutrition, then you will fall. That's my only thing. I'm like, all right, if you're going to eat reckless, make sure you backing it up with proper exercise. Make sure you backing it up with pranayama. Make sure you astral project and make sure you have a connection with spirit. Don't just eat crazy and just say, oh, it's mind over matter. I can do whatever I want. Nah, you don't get to have your way if you're trying to open up the portals of spirit. There's certain rules and regulations that must be followed. So, speaking from both sides, again, this is a person who has been a vegan, who has been vegetarian, who has went back to eat meat, then back to vegan, back to vegetarian. It's a person who then went through all these things. And my conclusion at this point, my conclusion is, I'm not messing with nothing unhealthy. Now, yes, again, I may end this video, eat some cornbread, eat some rice. It ain't gonna be no meat, but you know, that's what I mean by everybody has to do what's best for them. And does that mean you're going to be perfect? Absolutely not. That's why, again, I don't harp too bad on people or harp too hard on people, because you know, somebody may end this video and have sex with a stranger. And I'm going to say, oh, you probably shouldn't have did that. I'm like, oh, no. Do what thou wilt. But make sure you understand the consequences behind your actions. Because at the same time, it is mind over matter, but it is also cause and effect. You know what I mean? So if you want to apply the first universal law, make sure you apply the seventh one as well. You have to use them in unison. So it is mind over matter, but then it's cause and effect. So you have to deal with the consequences of your actions still, because we are still in a human vessel. You know what I mean? So we have to treat our body well. We can't treat our body like garbage cans. You can, but you shouldn't, because you know it's cause and effect. So do you really want to deal with being sick, getting sick at 60, then dying at 80, so you have to suffer for 20 years? I don't know. You know, I guess people are cool with that, right? Who wants to die in a hospital bed? You know what I mean? Because you got diabetes, because you got high blood pressure, because you had a stroke, because you had a heart attack, because you was eating too much red meat, or you was eating too much sugar, you was eating too much salt. Because if you wasn't doing those things, then you wouldn't have those issues. Those issues don't just come out of nowhere. That's when you take in the wrong foods continuously. You know what I mean? You still eating the pig. You know what I mean? Everybody should know you shouldn't eat that. But you eat that long enough, you know, you're going to have problems. You know, but again, you know, you can say, well, some people still live long having a destroyed diet. This is true. But where are they mentally? It's just not there, right? So this is what I mean. We can't live our lives the same way the blue pill poppers live their lives. If you pop that blue pill, do as thou wilt. and you know what I mean, live your life. But if you pop that red pill, then you gotta follow certain rules and regulations. I mean, you have to behave like a grown ass man or a grown ass woman, and only depend on self. What do they say? You can't have your cake and eat it too. It's something like that. I don't know. You know, it's something like that. All right, trying to have your cake and eat it too. You know, whatever. But you know, it all depends on what your goal is personally. It all depends on what your goal is. Okay. So where we at with it? Hi Asha, glad you're back on. Question: how is it? Hold on. Some people are sending me messages. Okay. Okay. How is it we can spiritually quantum leap? Okay, since we're talking about quantum leaps, do you know what a quantum leap is? But let's just say you do, since you answered the question, since you asked the question. I'm going to assume you know what it is. So to answer your question, it all depends on where you're trying to go. This is what I mean, like a quantum leap. Where are you trying to go? Where are you trying to end up? Have you thought that far into it? Or are you just trying to quantum leap just for the sake of quantum leaping? Where is your destination? Because depending on your destination is going to depend on how you get there. Where is your destination? You know, so I guess I have to stroll down. So you think about that for a second. Where's your destination? And depending on your destination is going to determine what route you need to take. How can I better articulate game to other? What do you mean to other? To other people? It all depends on who you're talking to and what you're trying to convey. Let me give you an example. Let's just say you in the streets, right? Let's just say you're a pimp. You run into somebody else who wants to be a pimp. It's not going to be hard to convey game to them because they already made up in their mind that's what they want to do. Or let's use a less extreme example. If you're an entrepreneur and you run into another entrepreneur, it's not going to be hard to articulate game to them because they already got their mind made up. It only becomes hard when you're trying to convey game to somebody who has not made their mind up yet. They don't even know what they want to do with their own life yet. So to a person like that, you can't really tell them anything because they don't even know what they want to do yet. Somebody who has their mind made up already, you just speak in their language. So once they got their mind made up, this is what I want to do with my life, then you convey that game to them to help them achieve their goals once they have their mind made up. But you can't convey game to somebody who has not made their mind up because they're still confused. All right. Okay. Yeah, a lot of people are writing their books like that. Just I definitely got to get. I'm gonna download that software. So you know, I'll be able to do a lot more things. It just make things a lot more simpler. But you know, you got to have your thoughts organized to do it. My mind has been a little too cluttered because y'all know, I'll be smoking up sometime. That's how, I'll be connected with spirit trying to receive downloads. But I know I have to, I can't be doing that all the time, which is why I take my breaks. And once I take my breaks and I get my mind back focused, let me see. Peace, peace. All right. Let me see. What time is it? I'm way behind. I'm still reading comments from 11:55. It's 12:12. Okay. Is it necessary to do the breathing techniques while meditating, or can you do them while you do other stuff? Let me let that pass. You start off with the breathing techniques in meditation. And once you perfect your breathing while in a meditative state, then you start to do it outside of meditation, which is when you really start to see those results. When you're able to do it outside of meditation. It's easy to do it in meditation. It's a lot harder to do it when you're not meditating. So once you perfect it in meditation, then you take it outside of meditation. So it's just steps. You know what I mean? So perfect it in meditation, then take it outside of manifestation. Because at that point, you should have programmed yourself to breathe in a different way anyway. And the more, you know what I mean, like a full breath. Like most people ain't breathing with their upper lungs. They may just be breathing with the upper lungs and not breathing, you know, with their belly. You know what I mean? So it's various ways to do it. So perfect your breathing in the meditative state, then take it outside of the meditative state. So again, these things take work. It may take years to do that. So I'm not saying it like this is simple. It may take years to change the way you breathe on a permanent level, which will change your whole life. It may take years, but are you willing to put in those years? Are you willing to dedicate, you know, 3 to 4 years of your life, you know, to perfect your breathing so that you can experience more spiritual things, you know? So it all depends. Again, everybody don't care about having spiritual experiences. And for those people who don't care about having spiritual experience, you can live your life however you choose to live it. But for those who want to experience more spiritual things, then, you know, you got to put in that work and you got to dedicate your life to it, which requires you to live a certain way. And again, everybody's different, so you got to find out what works for you. Again, you may eat something, or in other words, I may be lactose intolerant, but you may not be. And you may say, well, I can drink as much milk as I want. I'm still able to do whatever I want to do. Then so be it. That's why you have to learn your body. Because everybody can't do that. Everybody can't eat meat because everybody doesn't have the same blood type. That's what I'm saying. You have to learn your body. Can't nobody else tell you. You have to learn your body and listen to your body. So I challenge everybody, fast for a couple of days, then go back to eating the same stuff that you was eating before you fast and see if your body is responsive to it. Your body will let you know if that's something that you should be eating or not. So you listen to your body, but you must cleanse your body first, because most people numb their body because they're eating so much and, you know, their body is not responding. You know, so much they get so much buildup, you know, in their small intestines, and they start to die slowly. You know what I mean? So you have to cleanse your body so that you become more sensitive to how things and foods affect your body. You know, but you know, it takes time to learn these things. It takes time. So no rush. Somebody said Kanye is a gay fish. I mean, I don't know what this video has to do with Kanye West. You know. Question, your opinion on, or I guess you mean on, you said and, but I think you're saying on. Your opinion on Jupiter and Saturn being retrograde right now. Well, you know, Jupiter is all about expansion. Saturn is all about discipline. So when they're retrograde, you can say Saturn, it makes it a lot easier to fall to temptation when Saturn is in retrograde. So it's a lot easier to do things that, you know, that it's like a lot easier to start eating those hot cakes or them cheesecakes. You know what I mean? It's a lot easier to start, you know, eating things that you enjoy, but you know that's not good for you. Or being around people that you know may not be positive, but, you know, they keep the weed on deck. They have a lot of weed, even though you don't personally mess with them, but, you know, they keep the weed, so you may be over there a little bit more. I'm just throwing out examples. Of course, everybody don't smoke, but it's just an example. Then with Jupiter, because Jupiter deals with expansion, then it's going to be a lot harder to expand spiritually, because Jupiter is all about higher knowledge. It's all about philosophy. It's all about long distance travel. So all of those things would be a lot harder to do. It's a lot harder to get into true philosophy. It's a lot harder to, you know, travel long distance. Not impossible, but it'll be a lot more limitations in your way. Not impossible, because you can remove any obstacle in your life. It'll be a lot more resistance to those who are not on their game. If you on your game, then planets in retrograde mean nothing. If you on your game, it's only when you allow yourself to slip through those holes and slip through those cracks, then it starts to amplify that. It begins to get amplified when you allow yourself to slip through the cracks. For example, like, okay, I'm just gonna eat a little piece of this. You end up eating the whole thing. You know, that's when it's easier to slip through the cracks if you allow yourself to be, you know what I mean, susceptible to those things. That's right, I know my whole natal chart by heart and started reading from my family members, even got deeper into my houses. I definitely benefited way past what I thought I was paying for. There you go. So shout out to Afropic. You know, she got a natal chart reading from me. And there you go. That's her testimony. She said she got way more than what she paid for. That's what I'm talking about. Because I teach it. You know what I mean? I teach you how to interpret it, not just, oh, this is what this means, and that don't make no sense. So take it from her. Again, I ain't got to speak for it. Let her speak for it. So, you know what I mean? So just in case y'all thought I was just running my mouth, it's, you know, it's real deal. Real deal Holyfield, right? Let's see. Okay, have I ever experienced levitation in the physical world or the astral world? And what are some good techniques to tap into that energy? Yes. You know, I definitely, again, read the book Astral Dynamics or read the book The Amazing Secrets of the Yogi. Those talk all about the astral and how to levitate the astral body. There's a whole levitating the astral body. I believe chapter 2. I believe chapter 2. See, I would just go get the physical copy, but I lost it. Like when I went to Atlanta, I had the copy. I ended up losing it. So all I have is a digital copy, but it is what it is. But it's a whole chapter dedicated on that. And I read the chapter and I applied it and I experienced it. I literally read the chapter, fell asleep, and was levitating over my body. Just literally that quick. Like I literally read the chapter, fell asleep because, you know, I was tired. I got to get through this. I'm just constantly stuffing my brain. Then I woke up looking at myself, and I literally had to force myself back inside my body. You know. But, you know, I guess that probably don't make sense. But, you know, read those books. You know, if you want more in-depth details. But I know from personal experience that they work. But you got to be putting in the work. You know. All right. If I ever read a book, you would read it. Oh, trust me. You know, I don't know what I would write about though. You know, I'm not sure. I'll have to figure that out. Like, what would actually be the theme of it? Like, am I trying to teach metaphysics or quantum physics or whatever, or am I just writing about my life or whatever? I don't know. I got a whole book on YouTube. I feel like this is a book. My YouTube is a book, honestly. But you know, I'll have to figure that out. But I feel like I'm still in my 20s. You know, I'm still in my 20s. I got a long way to go before I feel like I can write a book about my life. So I think it's a little bit too early. You know what I mean? Y'all haven't even seen me at my peak yet. Like I ain't even reached the peak yet. I'm still young. Like I still got a long way to go. I'm not acting like that I didn't made it to my goals and all that. I still got things to achieve. So, you know, I'm still working, you know. So once I do that, I'll probably write a book then, but I still got goals that I have to reach before I feel like I should write a book, you know. But y'all will see the whole process, just like y'all been seeing the whole process. So you will see it. Said the video is choppy. Hold on. We don't want no choppy video. So let's see. Okay, y'all let me know. Y'all let me know if the video is still choppy. But if it's still choppy, then I can just switch locations. It's not a problem. Any other advice for receiving downloads? Everybody got to tap in the way they tap in. So the way I receive downloads may be completely different from the way you receive them. May be completely different. So you got to find out what works for you. Again, everybody don't like fasting. Everybody don't like meditating. Everybody don't like doing breathing techniques. Everybody doesn't like doing inversion. Everybody doesn't like reading book after book after book after book after book. You have to, you know what I mean? Like, again, everybody's different. Everybody's mind works differently. So that's why I say know thyself. Know yourself. Once you know yourself, then you will know the best way for you personally to tap in. Everybody has their own special technique, but you must learn your own technique. What did Bruce Lee say? The best technique or the greatest technique is to have no technique. Hopefully that didn't go over your head. The best technique or the greatest technique is to have no technique. You know. Is it possible to cause damage to yourself if one doesn't fully understand something before taking action? Absolutely, because that's how you get into misunderstandings. You jumping. It's like jumping in the pool, but not knowing how to properly swim. What's gonna happen? You are risking yourself being drowned, and it'll be your own fault. All right, somebody had to jump in the water and save you because you jumped in the water too fast. So yes. You can hurt yourself very much by taking action before it's time. But how do you know when it's time? It's like you may not truly know when it is time. But again, if you're looking at a pool, don't jump in if you don't know how to swim. You know what I mean? Don't go into the streets if you're not built for it. Don't go into corporate America if you're not built for it. Like, you have to see what you're built for. Everybody's built for something. Everybody has a specialty. And once you know what your specialty is, perfect your craft. Dedicate your life to your specialty. Then that's how you start elevating. You must dedicate your life to whatever your specialty is. Master your craft. Master your craft. You levitated, but physical body got too scared and shutting me back down. Yeah, you can't be dealing with fear. That's what keeps most people out of the spirit realm, because they are afraid. They start, they body start vibrating super, super quick. Their heart start beating super, super quick. They vibrate. They don't know what's going on. They think they're about to die. You can't have no fear. Don't have no fear. But you have to go through it to build up courage. So you don't see, most people have those experiences and get scared and never have them again because they are afraid. You may be completely afraid, but then you're doing it the next day. Like, oh man, I had a super spiritual experience. I talked myself out of it. But then you make sure you do it the next day. Don't allow fear to stop your progression. It's all about you have to attune the same way you have to attune yourself to Reiki, the same way you have to attune yourself to ASMR, you have to attune yourself to the spirit realm. It is on a higher vibration. So you can't go to the spirit realm thinking the same way you think here, because it don't work like that. That's why it's hard to remember your dreams, because you're not thinking like a human. So when we come back, we don't really remember it because you're not thinking like a human. You're not thinking the same way you think now. So you have to attune yourself to the spirit realm, which is at a higher vibration, which requires you to conquer your fear of the unknown. Let's see. You indulged in too much weed edible, which heightened your anxiety and you felt socially awkward in front of your crush. Is what I'm saying. I'm not saying edibles are bad, but it ain't for everybody. Because weed makes some people paranoid. Weed makes other people relaxed. It affects everybody differently. And that goes for any drug, that goes for any food, that goes for anything. That's why you have to do those experiments. Because you have to know how your body responds. So if it gives you anxiety, then maybe like, yo, all right, I don't need to smoke before I go out and be social. But somebody else may be able to smoke, you know what I mean, 2, 3, 4 blunts and be just fine. Everybody is different. Learn your body so that you don't put yourself in those situations, because you can essentially be hurt. If you're not around people you trust, or if you're not in an environment that you're familiar with, you can potentially get in bad situations by doing, somebody not knowing their limit. They drink too much, get drunk, you wake up butt naked somewhere, not knowing where you are and what just happened. It happens. You know what I mean? Because you got savages out here who will take advantage. So don't put yourself in those situations. Can I do a video of books that I've read? Nah, I couldn't. I've read too many books to count. I've read hundreds of books. There's no way. It will be no way. It will be no way to make it. But those are the books that I was interested in personally. So I wasn't reading books just because I just wanted to read. Whatever sparked my interest, that's what I read. I read what sparked my interest. So at times that was quantum physics. And other times it was Gnosticism. Other times, it was meditation. Other times it was, sex therapy or sex education. Other times it was Reiki. It just, whatever was sparking my interest at the time. Other times it may have been astrology, so on and so forth, human anatomy. You know what I mean? It just depends on what my interest was at those times, but I can't count how many books I read. It's just crazy. But it's just about what I was interested in. So don't just read just for the sake of reading, unless you just like reading. Follow your interests. I like reading older material. I don't really read books from these times. I read books that's over 100 years old. I like reading the older literature because it's more direct. People, they tend to speak more direct. Nowadays, it's just so much fluff. It's so much fluff in these books nowadays. I'm not about to read no 300-page book about what somebody else's life. I don't know. That's just the way I am now. So I don't really read books of today's times. I like reading older books from the 1900s. The 1900s through the 2000s. That 100-year span. I like reading books from 1900 to 2000. You know what I mean? So, not saying that, good books don't come out, but everything's already been spoken about. Ain't nobody saying nothing new. Ain't nobody saying nothing now that ain't already been laid down. So, what's the point of reading these newer books about stuff that's already been laid down and they not adding nothing to it? They not talking about nothing new. They was talking about quantum physics in the 90s. You know what I mean? Like that ain't nothing new. So nobody's talking about nothing new. So it is what it is. Do I think weed messes with your aura? It depends on you. It depends on you. It depends on how much you smoke. It depends on what strain you smoke. Is it sativa? Is it indica? Did you smoke a joint? Did you smoke a blunt? Did you hit a pipe? Did you hit a bong? All these factors make a difference in the high. And lastly, it all depends on how you react to the smoke. That's why I say I'm not here to promote drugs. Because it's not for everybody. Everybody can't function high. Everybody can't function drunk. Everybody can't function under a psychedelic. It's just not for everybody. Some people like being sober. You know what I mean? And some people like being high. It just depends. So it depends on you. Don't take nobody else's word for it. If it messes with your aura and it makes you uncomfortable, then leave it alone. But if it benefits you, then it is what it is. But again, like I said, I'm not putting too much emphasis on the tools. You have everything you need already. Everything else is extra. Do you need the weed? No. Do you need alcohol? No. Do you need psychedelics? No. Just get your breathing on point, and that's going to do more for you than any drug can do. Fast and get your breathing on point is going to do more for you than any drug can do. That's just entertainment. The drugs are just entertainment, you know. But it's not the solution. The solution is getting your body on point and building up your discipline. And if you want to smoke, then smoke, but it's not necessary to have any type of spiritual experience. It's just all on you. Bruce Lee, if you ever met him in another realm, you can. You just got to connect with him. You know what I mean? You can meet anybody you want to meet. Like I didn't met so many people in the spirit realm. It's crazy. Like it's having conversations with these motherfuckers. You can. Like that's not something impossible. But that's what I mean. You have to open up those gateways. So anything is possible. That's why anything is possible. Anything is possible. You just have to open up the gateways and expand your mind. How can you tell if it's a self-judgment or an intuition? How can you tell if what? Okay, let me try to answer the question. Self-judgment versus intuition. So I will look at that as self-judgment is self-defeating. Intuition is expanding. When you are judging yourself, that's not constructive. When you are listening to the voice of wisdom, that is constructive. So self-judgment is more egotistical. Intuition is more wisdom-based and more spiritual-based. So self-judgment is basically an inflated ego. Your ego is a little bit too inflated for you to think that you're too short to get some ass. Or you know what I mean? Like that's literally, some people are walking around this earth with that mentality. Oh, I'm not tall enough. My dick isn't big enough. It's like, come on, man. That's self-judgment. Intuition says go and talk to the girl. Stop thinking about, your height or your dick size, or you know what I mean? That's what keep people in a dungeon. Self-judgment is self-defeating, Hopefully that makes sense. What do you think about anxiety over decision-making? Anxiety just comes from self-judgment, like I've just said, basically. You don't have anxiety if you don't self-judge yourself. That's why that's a big reason why people do drugs, because it stops you from judging yourself. It just allows you it helps you to go with the flow so that you're not beating yourself up mentally. That's the most popular reason why people do drugs, to get over anxiety. But the anxiety comes from self-judgment, and the self-judgment comes from not breathing properly, and not breathing properly comes from not eating properly, so on and so forth. So it is what it is. How do you change your situation? You know about prayer, but I need to change the situation ASAP. I think positive, but I'm feeling anxious. Well, if you want to change anything, so this is what I mean. It's your situation. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Don't let your situation lead you into action, because now you want to change it because you don't like it. You're not doing it because this is what you genuinely want to do. Again, it's just the same thing. Like, most people don't pray till they get into a bad situation. All right? So the issue isn't the situation. The situation is not the issue. The issue is, you have to ask yourself, how did you get into that situation? Because once you understand how you got into the situation in the first place, then you will understand, like, okay, this is the lesson that needs to be extracted from this situation, so that's what helps you get out of it. You need to extract a lesson. Why are you in this situation in the first place? What is the lesson? Once you discover the lesson and apply the lesson, then you get out of the situation. For example, that's like an alcoholic asking themselves, oh, why am I just roaming the streets? My mind is so cluttered. I can't think straight. I don't have an appetite. But they looking like, oh, the problem is my appetite, or you roaming around the streets. No, the problem is the alcoholism. Stop drinking and you know what I mean, that solves everything. But he's like, well, okay, what makes you drink? See, that's the deeper problem. It ain't just stop drinking. Why do you drink? And when you figure out why do you drink, then you, like, some people may say it's anxiety. It helps me deal with my anxiety. Well, why do you have anxiety? Because you are too self-judgmental. Where does that come from? Because we've been programmed to think that we are lesser than. Nobody's telling you your true nature. Everybody's telling you that you're nothing. That's the way the world is set up. You know, you're just another worker at a job. You're just another person with kids. They're not telling you that you're the supreme being of the universe. So it just got everybody, that's what run the system. A bunch of anxiety, a bunch of people with anxiety because they don't want to lose their job. Because they, that's what runs the system. Because if you keep everybody on the edge of their seat, if I make one mistake, I'm going to lose my job and I can't pay my bills. That's what generates anxiety. That's what make the system work. Because they want to keep you on the edge of your seat. They want to keep you in this fear. That's the source. The source is fear. So how do you change a situation? You must conquer your fear. Fear destroys lives. Fear will lead you to destruction. No fear, no problem. Because whatever you need to do to get out of your situation, you will do it. Because you don't have any fear. But the fear keeps you in whatever situation you may be in. So fear. How do you stop fear? Get your breathing on point. Because observe your breath. When you are fearful, you have no breathing pattern. You're breathing all over the place. You have no consistency and no rhythm in your breathing. You tame your breath, the fear dissipates. No breath control, you will be fearful all the time, and it will never stop. And you will be controlled by your outward situations instead of your inward situations. We've been on here almost 2 hours. I don't know. I still feel like I just sat down. I feel like I'm manipulating time or something. It definitely feel like I've been here 2 hours. Anyway. Do you think receiving physical pain and life lessons is good for you? And do you think this can raise your vibration? Receiving physical pain? It depends on what type of physical pain. Now, if you're talking something like some type of S&M, I believe that's what it's called, S&M, sadistic and misogynistic, something like that. Like when you letting your partner smack you on the ass with some type of toys or some type of whips, go for it. But if you're talking about something other than that, then it's no point of just feeling physical pain for no reason. But yeah, if it's like role playing, you're role playing with your partner. You know what I mean? Like, it's one thing to slap a woman in the face. It's another thing when you slapping her in the face and you penetrating her, and it's exciting. It's a difference. So it depends on what type of physical pain you're talking about. But make it fun, make it enjoyable. Not just hurt yourself for no reason. without any pleasure attached to it. You know. Let me see. Somebody asked, do you remember me? And have I met you in person before? What's up? What's up? My day is smooth. You know, we good. We good. Everything is smooth over here. Let me see. But what if it had nothing to do? Wait. I guess I was saying it the way it was supposed to be said. You made a typo. I guess you're trying to say, but what if it had nothing to do with you, or what if it's nothing that you did? It had to be something that you did. Okay. Let's look at it this way, because this is what I mean by the mentality. So let's just say you're trying to change a situation, but then you say it's nothing that you did. How do you get into a situation that you want to change that you didn't do? For example, okay, we say it like this. This is what I mean by people knowing it up here, but they don't have it. They don't have it here. You don't get to say that you didn't have anything to do with it, but you want to change it. You don't get to have your cake and eat it too. It's one or the other. Either you're the creator or you're not. Which one is it? Because if you're the creator, you know that you have complete control over your life. But if you're making things like, yo, I didn't have nothing to do with it. Oh, it ain't my fault. That it just happened. No, it didn't. It was a reason why you're there. There's a reason why you're going through whatever situation you may be going through. And there's a reason why you want to change it. You see, it's all you. You must do what you need to do for yourself. Don't blame nothing else. See, again, you don't get to live this life and blame nobody for nothing. You don't get to say it's not me. I didn't have nothing. You don't get that luxury. If you're living by these spiritual teachings, you don't get that luxury. Somebody else can say that. Somebody who's ignorant can say that. A child can say that. But you don't get that luxury. So it's like either you the creator or you not. Which one is it? Either you the creator or you not. Either you popping a blue pill or you popping a red pill. Which one is it? You know? Yeah, we already know. Asha got me with this whole money equal energy thing. I dived into my beliefs and all that. However, I don't know what direction to take next to manifest money easily. I know energetics and all, but see, money don't equal energy. First and foremost, see, you're limited. You're making it too small. And again, this is what I mean. Money don't equal energy, because energy is everything. Energy is more than money. Yes, money is energy, but money isn't just, or energy isn't just money. Energy is way broader than money. What was it? What was I going to say? It just slipped my mind. But I'll just say something else. Energy equals matter. There is no separation between energy and matter. So you don't have to think about money. You just think about energy. When you master energy, and you master energy by practicing pranayama, when you master energy, then you don't have problems. Doesn't mean that, you know, you just have a perfect life, but you just know how to deal with things as they come to you. And you have no fear with dealing with obstacles. So this is what I mean. We're making this too small. Like, okay, how do I get money? How do I do this? How do I do this? The same way you get money is the same way you get love. The same way you get love is the same way you get anything else. We don't stop trying to separate things and look at it as all one holistic thing. Like, okay, well, there is a certain way to get money, then there's a certain way to get love, there's a certain way to do this, there's a certain way to do that. Energy is everything. Oh, that's what I was going to say. What I was going to say is energy cannot be created or destroyed, right? We all know this, or we should know this. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can only be manipulated, or it can only change form. So the only thing you're doing is mastering how to change the form of energy, which can take the form of money or anything else. But it's all the same energy. It's not separate. Everything is ether. So we don't need to separate it. So you just are manipulating that same energy source to whatever goal you're trying to reach. So we don't have to separate. So again, this is what I mean. Because of the times we're in, everybody wants to make stuff complicated. Like everything requires a separate way of doing things. Then people wonder why they're confused, because somebody is telling you this and somebody's telling you that, somebody's telling you this. Energy cannot be created or destroyed, only manipulated. So manipulate energy by using pranayama, which is the control of your breath, which may take years. But so what? So let's just say you may be broke for 3 or 4 years, mastering yourself, but it will be worth it. It may take some time to master yourself, but it will be worth it. You know? What's my favorite sport? I don't participate in sports. I don't do no type of sports except sex. That's it. My sport is sex. I don't football, basketball. I never cared to entertain people. I never cared to do that. I never cared to make somebody else money like that. And again, that just never been my thing. Somebody's watching me get hurt or watching me get tackled and laughing and parading. I'm not nobody else's. I'm not an entertainer, in other words. So I never cared about that. But I will participate in some sexual sports. You know, just being real. How do you find out what culture you belong to? You got to find that out in the spirit realm. I can't tell you that. But you have to put in the spiritual work. You build up your spiritual energy. Again, I already recommended the books. I already told y'all about the books to get. Put into practice those techniques found in those books I already mentioned. Then ask yourself before you go to bed, who am I? What culture do I belong to? Then you must observe your dreams, and the answer will be revealed to you. You know, it may take years. Again, like this, none of this is gonna happen overnight. But most people get discouraged when they don't get results. When they only tried for a couple weeks, or I didn't get no results, I'm stopping. Like, yo, what do you expect to do in a couple weeks? You know, you gotta take time. Like if you got to be dedicated, you know? You got to be dedicated to it. You got to be dedicated. Looking clean, bro. I appreciate that, Leandro. Yeah, I did do a video called I did do a video called How to Make Money Fall Out the Sky. But, you know, I don't mention that because I'm assuming that people have already seen that video. You know? But again, a lot of people don't go through the archive. You know, I do have 300 videos. So, you know, a lot of questions have already been answered, but, you know, it is what it is. Everybody's not going to put in that work. You know, so put in the work. You know, you will receive the answers. All right. Why the scarf these days? Well, I've already explained it. I've already explained the scarf. But you know, if you want the real reason, is because I don't want nobody to know who I am. If I pull out the strap, I don't want nobody to know who I am. You know. Now, of course, I'm just bullshitting, but it is what it is. I'm not. I don't even. I already explained it. This is just. I should just make this a whole style. Like I'm just. I'm just on my ninja. I'm the black ninja. Do I recommend meditating every day to help attract ideas for providing value in terms of a product? I mean, to me that just makes sense. To me that just makes sense. If you're serious, if you really trust in meditation, see, people hear like, yo, meditate, 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 but they don't trust the process and they don't understand the process. They're just doing it because somebody told them to do it. Meditation must be a tool that you understand and that you find useful. Don't meditate because I told you to meditate. Meditate because you see the benefit of it. So if you don't see the benefit of it, then, but you don't have, it only makes sense to me. Let me see. Perhaps the money is not what you attract, but the person who is looking for your help, and you can make money from it. Well, in all honesty, you don't attract anything. You don't attract anything. You create all things. Just to be clear. Again, so many people are confused. To me, that's the only reason I exist, because it's too much confusion. That's a whole purpose of me being on YouTube. Just to clear the confusion up. You don't attract nothing. You create all things. I thought you was a creator. Either you are a creator or you're not. A creator doesn't attract. A creator creates. Because to say you attract is to say that you are attracted to something that already is in existence. Or I attract this person that already existed. Or versus I took something from within myself and placed it into this world. Whole different ball game. But you got to be on the level to even understand that. You got to be on the level to even understand the difference between creation and attraction. What's my take on this obsession with superheroes in this era, like Marvel, DC, Dragon Ball Z, and all these things? Because people don't know who they are. They see themselves in these superheroes. They see themselves. It reminds them of who they really are. But because they don't have the knowledge of themselves, they settle for seeing it on the screen, on the big screen. So trust me, yeah, you're going to always have people run out and seeing these superhero movies. But that's all it is to them. It's just a movie. Then they go home and they live their regular average life. They don't look at themselves as the superhero. They don't see themselves in the movie like, yo, this is a movie about me. They just like, yo, this is entertainment. But it affects the subconscious. It reminds them of something real. But they don't know what that real is. Because they don't know themselves. This is what I mean. I spoke about this before. They're gonna resell you your own culture. For example, with Star Wars, right? The Jedis and the Sith Lords and all that. That's all our culture. That's all our culture, but they take it away from you, then they resell it to you back in the form of movies. That's the game. So they got rich off of hiding your culture and reselling it back to you in the form of movies. That's the game. That's how people get rich. Off of deceiving and lying to you, thinking that they invented something. But all of these comic books are based on mythology that was already in existence. Every comic book character is based on a deity. And every deity is based on an aspect of your mind. Simple as that. But if you can't piece it together, then you're not going to be able to do nothing with it. It activates something within you, but you don't know what to do with it because you don't know who you are. If you don't know who you are, you can't apply any of this knowledge. This knowledge cannot be applied if you don't see yourself as the creator. If you see yourself as there's something greater than yourself, then you will never be able to apply this knowledge to the best of your ability. Okay. Support Trump. Bro, Trump's our president and last savior. Trump equal Jesus. Trump is definitely a Christ figure. I won't disagree with that. There are people who are whichever the correct way to say that. There are people who look at Trump as their savior. That is a correct statement. But these people don't know who they are. So they give all their power to somebody who does know who they are. That's really all it is. That's the game. Trump knows who he is, but his supporters don't know who they are, so they look at him as the Christ figure. And to some people, he is their Christ, and so be it. Let him be their Christ, so be it. It is what it is. You know what I mean? Let him be their Christ. It is what it is. You're new, you have watched some of my older stuff. Welcome to the fold. Welcome to the fold. Definitely, extract. I know my style is pretty extreme and wild, and I say a lot of outlandish things. But there's definitely a method behind the madness. It's a reason why I'm so extreme, because people wouldn't listen otherwise. If I was just on here talking strictly scientific and mathematical, it would just be going over people's heads. It was like, whatever. So I just gotta keep it based in reality. So I just speak about reality. I try not to speak too much in fantasy land. I try to keep it grounded in reality. So which is not the easiest thing to do, because I probably would have way more views, way more subscribers if I was talking about aliens and I was talking about conspiracy theories, and if I was trying to expose other YouTubers and all that, I would have way more. But I don't care to have that type of energy surrounding me. I don't care. I don't care to get views off of trying to bring down other people. And I challenge anybody to find somebody who isn't trying to bring down other people, trying to expose other people. Like it's hard to find people like that who don't need it. I can just impart wisdom to you and go about my business. I don't need to talk about nobody else, because I really don't care. You know what I mean? Let people live their lives. It is what it is. I'm only speaking to a certain type of person, and that's who I speak to. So if that's only 20 people, it is what it is. It is what it is. I don't get too caught up with the numbers. Because if you were surrounded by 20 enlightened beings, that's true power. You used to find money in the streets all the time. Be nice to get back to that state. Well, you can't go backwards, so you go forward. So instead of trying to find money on the street, find a way to create a business so that you can get the money to the bank account, right? That's just my thinking. That's just the way I think. I don't know. To each his own. What is my favorite music? I love the ratchet music. Anything ratchet. Anything ratchet, with the strippers in the background and all that, absolutely love it. It brings a smile to my face. Anything ratchet, anything to take my mind off of politics and all this stuff that I don't care about anyway. So anything ratchet. I'm about to listen to some ratchet stuff right now. Like, I will be playing music in the videos, but if I was playing music in the videos, then I wouldn't be able to monetize it. So whatever. I'll just listen to it after I end the video. So I'm about to listen to some ratchet stuff right after I end the video. How do you shift your reality? Well, I think that's what I've been talking about this whole time for the past 2 hours. But just in case you came in late, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. You shift your reality. It's not really about shifting. This is about living your truth. So if you want to change your reality, that means you're not living your truth. You just must live your truth to the greatest of your ability. Live your truth to the greatest of your ability. That's how you shift your reality. You have to be yourself, more of yourself, and show forth yourself without fear. Destroy your fear, and your reality would be shifted. And you do that by breathing properly, practicing pranayama, meditation, which opens up the voice of spirit to you. So if I got to say that 1,000,000 times for people to get it, then I'm just going to say it 1,000,000 times, What do I know about alpha draconians? I know a lot about it, but I don't choose. I choose not to speak about it because it's not practical information. Because what is it going to do for you? How is that going to help you be more who and what you are? I feel like I'm from Draco. If I'm from anywhere, I'm from Draco. I like their style. Because the story of Draco, or the Draconians, goes as they feel that they are the true rulers of this universe, and it was taken away from them by those who pose as the true rulers of the universe, but really not. So their whole mentality is, this is my universe, so I use these resources the way I see fit, as opposed of I had to follow somebody else's rules and regulations who is under me. Like you are babies. I'm the head honcho. But that's neither here nor there. But that's why I don't really talk about aliens. It's too abstract. You know what I mean? It's just going all over the place. I don't see how that would help anybody. But just because you ask. Am I peace? Are you a Scorpio? If so, can you give an understanding to the Scorpio mind? Yes, I am a Scorpio. If you're talking about the sun sign, yes, my sun sign is a Scorpio. We have more signs. So I don't necessarily identify myself as a Scorpio just because my sun sign is a Scorpio. I have other planets and other signs. But if we're speaking strictly on the sun sign of a Scorpio, I mean, insight into the mind of a Scorpio is like, it depends on what level you on. It depends on what level you on. You have Scorpios that are, that love having sex. You have Scorpios who love to study occult information. You have Scorpios who are very emotional. You know what I mean? And just have emotional outbursts. It's many, many different Scorpios. It all depends on where they are spiritually. If they are even into any type of spirituality. So the insight into a mind of a Scorpio, Scorpios just like to dedicate themselves to something. So I chose to dedicate my life to spirituality. And before that, I was dedicating my life to, what was I doing before spirituality? I don't even know. Like I've been on this path for so long, anything before this seems like a past life. I don't even know what I was doing. I was just a kid, a bad kid who was doomed. I was doomed for destruction. If I didn't find spirituality, I probably wouldn't be alive. I would have killed I wouldn't say I would have killed myself, but I would have been killed because I couldn't, I was, Y'all know how it is. So, I wouldn't even say I found it though. Spirituality found me, and I just listened. I was open enough to listen when the message was revealed to me, and it completely changed my life. You know, but that's what that is. So, the mind of a Scorpio depends on the Scorpio, and every Scorpio is different. You know, but that's for those who truly understand astrology. For example, you got a whole 30 days from October. You could be a Scorpio, I believe, from like October 23rd to like November 22nd. So that's like a whole 30 days, and each day is going to be different. Like a Scorpio born on November 5th is not going to be the same Scorpio that on the 20th. That's a completely different person because you go, but that's if you deep into astrology, but not getting into all that. But into my mind works like I see a lot of death. I see a lot of death. I see a lot of things that may drive people insane. I deal with a lot of dark entities, a lot of demons, a lot of angels, not just all dark, very dark, but I mix it up with the light, you know. So my mind probably would be too X-rated, and I'm not just talking about sexually. It's just my mind is in a whole different reality, and it ain't even. Most people wouldn't even comprehend that at all. A lot of death and destruction. You know. Let me see where we at with it. Is there a book practice that you recommend to help use metaphysics to attract a better love life? Not a girlfriend, just sex and play. If you already covered this, no problem. I'll watch the vid. Yes, it was already covered. But again, it's not, get your mind out of attraction. You're not attracting anything. You create all things. Just that simple difference or that simple change of direction, you will get results just from looking at yourself as a creator versus somebody that can attract. There's a huge difference. You are taking things that are within you and placing them into this world versus attracting something that already exists. You may be looking for something that don't even exist in this world. You got to put it in this world. So all this sex and play, all these women that's going to give you sex and pleasure, it was within you. You have to place them into the world. They're not already there. Somebody's wrong. See, just think about this concept. Let me make this clear. Right? If you are an attractor, that means, in your example, that means there's already women. But wait. Just in case you are a woman. But oh no, you say not a girlfriend. So I'm assuming you're a man. But to assume that you are attracting people, that means these people already exist. And you're trying to attract people that already exist for your own personal pleasures. Who gives a fuck about your personal pleasures? However, if we're talking about creation, your personal pleasures, let's move this a little bit. There we go. Your personal pleasures matter because you're taking your personal pleasures that are inside of you and placing them into this world or projecting please you. Now they listen pleasing you because you created the experience. As opposed to if you're just trying to attract people who have no idea who you are. You know what I mean? Like it's like trying to manipulate people's minds. You know what I mean? Like this is just the whole thing behind this. Like if you're trying to attract people who don't know who you are, who don't care who you are, but somehow you're supposed to attract people and make them generate an attraction towards you. It's like you know, it's like it's borderline deception. You don't have to deceive when you are a creator. Like, yo, I'm about to create this specific experience for myself, as opposed to I'm just trying to manipulate somebody's mind. You know, huge difference, huge difference. So just that subtle difference puts you on a whole different playing field. You know. Scorpios are secretive. Some are, some aren't. Because to say that, you know, if Scorpios were secretive, I wouldn't have a YouTube channel. I wouldn't be sharing all of these personal experiences. I wouldn't be sharing this wisdom if I was secretive. I would be keeping my mouth shut, right? I would have nothing to say. I would just keep all this information to myself and just go, you know, just do whatever I'm doing. I wouldn't have 300 videos if I was secretive, talking about myself and my experience and I'm showing my life. I'm showing me homeless on the streets, and I'm showing the other side of it. Most people are not doing that. Most people, you will never see people when they're down because they only show you themselves when they're up. I showed myself at my worst, where most people would have just hid somewhere in the shadows. You know, I stayed in front of a camera and didn't even know where my next meal was coming from. You know, at times. But, you know, I'm still doing it, though, because I'm like, I know who I am. So I didn't have any fear. You know, so if Scorpios were secretive, then this video wouldn't exist, right? So that's what I mean. You know, we can't use these basic definitions of what we think zodiac signs are. It's like, you know, you can transcend your zodiac sign if you didn't know. We are the whole zodiac. We're not just our sun sign. You like how loyal Scorpios are? That's what I'm saying. Some are, some aren't. You know, it just depends. So that's what I mean. Don't let these basic definitions of these zodiac signs define who people are, because we are more. Because you can be a Scorpio, but you can be an ascendant Aquarius. So whether people look at you as an Aquarius, even though your sun sign is a Scorpio, like there's many different variations to this. You know, so that's why, you know, I don't ask people for their astrology sign. That never even comes up in conversation. Like, I can care less what a person's zodiac sign is, and I don't ask. You know, I can care less. Like, I don't care what you are. Like, oh, some signs are compatible with others, some are not. You know, I've been with every zodiac sign. I've been with every zodiac sign. And to me, it just didn't make no difference. You know, it was like, okay, well, certain signs you don't get along with. No, it's just that you have to put forth certain aspects of yourself depending on who you're dealing with. For example, they say water signs don't get along with fire signs, especially in relationships, because fire signs are a little bit too passionate and water signs are a little bit too emotional. But as a water sign, in order for you to deal with a fire sign, you just have to place certain attributes of yourself to the forefront and other attributes in the background. But if a person is looking at, oh, we're not compatible because of the way you are, and you don't even know who they are, you just judging them off of their zodiac sign, it's like you're doing yourself an injustice. You can get along with any zodiac sign because it shows you that, like, yo, I can get along with any sign. I just have to put forth certain attributes. But you have to be comfortable with yourself. See, some people like keeping aspects of themselves in the dark. You know, if you're not afraid to show forth those dark aspects, then you can deal with any zodiac sign. It is what it is. You know, it is like, I don't have a favorite or nothing. I like Scorpios. I don't like Libras. I like everybody because I know how to deal with everybody. You just have to deal with people in a certain way. It's a certain way to deal with fire signs. It's a certain way to deal with wind signs. You just have to deal with them in a certain way. But that requires you to manifest more of yourself. But if you're comfortable with who you think you are, like, man, I don't like dealing with this person. Let's just say, oh, this person is arrogant. There's a way to deal with arrogance. Or this person just likes to have sex all the time. There's a way to deal with that. There's a way to deal with somebody who's shy. There's a way to deal with somebody who's emotional. There's a way to deal with somebody who's practical and who likes material things or earth signs. It's a way to deal with everybody. But everybody's not willing to adapt to dealing with those types of people. They're just comfortable with who they are. So, I can care less about a person's zodiac sign. It is what it is. You just have to deal with them accordingly. You must challenge yourself. Like, man, I have a hard time getting along with this person. Challenge yourself. Challenge yourself. Because there is a way to deal with anybody. But you have to be willing to open yourself up to how that is. But to each his own. That's just my opinion. So many times I tried to tell guys to just be fuck buddies, and they were so against it. But they didn't want to be my boyfriend either. Why do some of y'all do that? Why not just take the out? Wait, let me read this one more time. So the guy didn't want to be a fuck buddy or a boyfriend. Hold on, let me make sure the battery is good. Okay. Why do some of y'all do that? Again, I can't speak for nobody else. I can't speak for nobody else. I don't know why that person did that, or whoever these people was. They may have had their own reasons. It may have been based on a situation. You know what I mean? Who really knows? It could be an infinite number of factors why a person doesn't want to be in a relationship and they don't want to be, fuck buddies. It could be a variety of situations. Could be a living situation, could be a financial situation, it could be any type of situation. So whatever situations they may be going through. But to speak personally, if I want to speak about myself, like, I feel like my mind is a little bit too advanced to, to deal with a person that doesn't know who they are. To me, it just sounds like that person just didn't know who they was. That's all it is. Like, they're confused. So all they're going to do is bring confusion to you. They don't even know who they are. Trust me, that's 99.9% of everybody's issue. They just don't know who they are. So they're walking around confused. But for me, if once you know who you are, it's like the way I deal with people is different than somebody who don't know who they are. For example, like I said, I don't have favorites. I don't show favoritism. I just deal with people how they are. So if it becomes sexual, then that's just what it becomes. Like it's like I don't have preconceived notions, and I don't have, if I meet a person, I'm not looking at this person, oh, this is going to be my girlfriend, or this is just going to be a fuck buddy. I'm not even thinking like that. I'm just like, yo, I have to establish a connection with this person, and that connection has to materialize into whatever it is going to materialize to. So I don't walk into any situation with, this is what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for anything. Because when you know who you are, you're not looking for anything. Oh, I'm looking for a girlfriend. I'm looking for a fuck buddy. I'm not looking for anything. It just is whatever it is whatever it is. you know. But again, that's when you're not confused, then you can do that. Where you don't have to, you're okay with whatever it is. If you're just a person I call on the phone every 2-3 months, then so be it. Or if you're a person who, you know, is getting the sex game every weekend, then so be it. It is what it is. But that ain't necessarily something that I was already thinking. That's just what it turned into, based on the connection. Not because like that's what I was looking for. Like I'm not looking for anything. It just whatever happens, happens. You know. Just going, you gotta, I'm not even saying like just go with the flow. It's just that know who you are so that you don't confuse anybody else. But if you don't know who you are, you're gonna confuse everybody else. But when you know who you are, you know, there is no confusion within yourself or outside of yourself. Let me see. So what you were saying is that I created my current business partner and now I have created our customers. See, again, you're thinking too small, bro. You're thinking too small. You're thinking business. If you are the creator of your whole existence, why are you limited? Why is it limited to business? Oh, I created my partners and my customers. You did a lot more than that. You're the creator of your universe. Why are you just thinking about business? You see what I mean? Like so many people. And again, I'm not blaming you for thinking like that. It's just, again, all of this information is like, this is over here, this is over here, this is over here, this is over here. When it's all one thing. You are creating everything. Everything. Not just this, not just that, not just business, not just relationships, not just everything. But that's if you claim to be a creator, though. If you claim it, then you got to own it. Own your whole reality. Not, no, I mean, don't just think on the level of business. Some say your Venus, Mars, rising, and moon is the most important. In my opinion, the most important is the connection. The connection. If I have a connection with a person, I don't care what their aspects are. Because I don't know it anyway. Because again, I'm not a person that asks, oh, what is your zodiac sign? I know what is your moon sign and what is your ascendant? What aspects? Like, I can care less. I can care less. I don't know what any of this is. But if we have a connection, then I honor that connection. I'm not really thinking about, well, why? Oh, we have a connection because your signs are these alignments. I'm not even thinking like that. It just, you know what I mean? I'm looking at the living manifestation of all of that. Now, yes, for my own personal charts and my own personal alignments is different. But that's really all I study astrology for. I study astrology to understand my personal alignments. I can care less about anybody else's. You know what I mean? Like I don't, somebody else's. I'm not doing nobody else's chart. Trying to figure out why I have a connection with this person or why I didn't have a connection with this person. So I study self, and everything else is just everything else. So project a experience to women like you're a ride at the fair. Again, expand your thinking, bro. Expand your thinking. You are the creator of everything. I guess that concept just may be too big. The same way you will create money is the same way you create. It's the same technique. The same there is no difference. There you are using the same technique for anything you desire to happen. It's the same technique. There's just one technique, which is no technique. I'll say it one more time. The best or the greatest technique is to have no technique, which is basically there is no separation. Oh, I need to do this technique over here. I need to do this technique over here. I need to do this technique over here. There is no technique. Because there is no outside enemy. I encourage everybody. Watch the beginning of the Bruce Lee movie. I believe it's Enter the Dragon. Watch the first 8 minutes of the video when he's having a conversation with his sensei. That breaks down the whole universe. In that 8-minute, like, you don't even have to watch the movie. Just watch the first 8 minutes of the movie. You don't even got to watch the movie. You ain't got to watch all the fighting scenes and all that. That's irrelevant. That 8-minute conversation with his sensei can change your life if you truly comprehend what's being said. You know, that's essentially what he's saying. Like, there is no enemy, there is no technique. Everything is just like a play, a dance. You know, it's, again, just definitely check out the first 8 minutes of that movie for those who don't understand that. You like water signs because, wait, I like water signs, and that's because of the earth in my chart. You know, so be it. To each his own. To each his own. Again, I'm not telling nobody how you do it. How you do it is how you do it. If you have favoritism, so be it. Again, I'm not here to beat you up about it. You know, do what thou wilt. Do what thou wilt. How does fire adapt to deal with earth or air? Oh, they just retracted their comments, so we'll just keep moving on. 2 different guys from your past. It was some weird pattern you was attracting. Again, y'all gotta chill with this attraction. Again, I understand I'm not from this age, I guess. I'm not from this age. Cause it's like everybody is saying attraction. I'm like, I don't even understand that. What are y'all talking about? Attraction? I don't know. I don't understand that lingo. It doesn't make sense to me, personally. But I guess my soul is a little older. I don't understand those concepts. But to each his own. To each his own, you know. But definitely study attraction. Just look up the definition. Actually, let me bust out the dictionary. Let's put this to rest. Let me bust out the dictionary and show y'all the difference. Because don't take my word for it. Let me go grab my tablet. I'll be right back. Let me show y'all. Let me put this to rest. Hold on. I'll be right back. So we're going to put this to rest. Let's put this to rest. Okay. Let's look up the definition of attraction. Let's see what we get. Give me 1 second. Let me find this browser. Okay. I still got porn. Still got porn on the tabs and all that. Anyway, let me close these tabs. So let me type in attraction. Attraction definition. Okay. So this is the definition of attraction. The action or power of evoking, not invoking, evoking interest, pleasure, or liking for someone or something. One more time. Attraction. The action or power of evoking interest, pleasure, or liking for someone or something. All right? The synonyms: appeal, desirability, seductiveness, seduction, allure, all right? Magnetism, all right? Okay, y'all got that. Let's type in creation. We're gonna put this to bed right now. Again, all these people that y'all listening to got y'all on some other shit. Let's put this to bed right now. All right, creation. Okay, the definition of creation. Listen, the action or process of bringing something into existence. The bringing of existence, or the bringing into existence of the universe, especially when regarded as an act of God. Think about this, right? Synonyms: establishment, formation, foundation, initiation, institution, constitution, so on and so forth. Right? Are y'all following? Attraction is like magnetism. Creation is an act of God. Okay? So what are you doing? Are you doing acts of God? Or are you just simply exercising your magnetism? Which one is it? Which one is it? Are you performing the action or process of bringing something into existence? Or are you evoking? Are you invoking or evoking? Which one is it? I'll let y'all ponder on that though. I'm not going. I gave y'all the definition. Do your own Googles. See for yourself. So y'all ask yourselves which one are y'all really performing? Is it just a simple act of magnetism, or is it an act of God? Y'all make the decision. What are ways to align with your life purpose? Whatever your life purpose is, to me, a lot of people think their life purpose may be helping other people. Your life purpose is you. You are your own life purpose. Your life purpose is to manifest who and what you are, to invoke, to not evoke, to invoke the God within, and to place something within yourself outside of yourself, and to understand that process fully, to fully understand the process of creation. That is your life purpose. Now, what you choose to do with that is on you. Whatever you choose to do with that is on you. But that is your life purpose, is to invoke the God within. That is your life purpose. And again, how what you do with that is completely up to you. But you must align with the divine laws of the universe, because the divine laws of the universe help you to align. What are the divine laws of the universe? The law of mentalism, the law of correspondence, the law of rhythm, the law of polarity, the law of correspondence. If I didn't already say that, the law of cause and effect, the law of gender, and the law of polarity. It's 7, so I think I said that twice. Let me say it again. Let me get this right. Mentalism, correspondence, polarity, vibration, rhythm, gender, cause and effect. There we go. You implement those 7 universal laws and know them by heart and see them living in your life. You see these things manifesting right before you as you go about every single day of your life. That is your life purpose. That's how you invoke the God within and manifest. Not attract. You didn't say it was no law of attraction. It was law of mentalism, correspondence, vibration, polarity, rhythm, cause and effect, gender. All right? You know, that's your life purpose. And what you do with that is up to you. Let me see. I don't know squat about astrology, but I see a difference between English astrology and Vedic astrology. How do you put them both together and get a better sense of prediction? Well, you don't put those together because they are separate sciences. There's a reason why, and again, it's not called English, it's called Western astrology. That's the technical term. So it's Western astrology versus Vedic astrology. Those are two completely different systems. Two completely different systems, which were created at two different time periods by completely different people. So they really have nothing to do with each other. Now, Vedic astrology is older. Western astrology is more simplistic. For example, Western astrology has 12 houses versus Vedic astrology, which has 27 houses. You know, so it's completely different. Vedic astrology is way more complex. And it's like you have to kind of learn the language to truly understand it, which is not hard to do, but you got to be dedicated to it. So Western astrology is like simplified Vedic astrology. For those, you know, because that's just a little bit too, if Western astrology is complex, then Vedic astrology is, you know, overwhelming to the average person. So you start off with Western astrology, then you evolve to Vedic astrology. But most people stay at Western astrology and they don't study other astrology systems because every culture has a system of astrology. Those are just, you can say, the most popular. The Western and the Vedic are the most popular, but every culture has a system of astrology, which is reading the stars outside of yourself as well as inside of yourself, your own personal natal chart as well as understand the movements of the stars. You know, so there it is. They're really not supposed to be put together. It's just you learn them separately. You know, because they really don't have anything to do with each other. But astrology is a universal science overall. You're noticing firsthand how everything is self-inflicted. Well, you know, that's a hard pill to swallow. That's red pill information. And everybody's not going to accept that. So to each his own. But if you popping these red pills, then you know things is going to get real hectic and crazy for a while before things start to stabilize. Things will be chaotic before they are balanced and orderly. You will experience the chaos before you experience the balance and the order. You know. Let's see what we got. Have I read The Satanic Witch by Anton LaVey? It speaks on attraction based on where we fall on his, what is it, synthesizer clock. Very good read. Again, that's newer information. Just the fact of putting satanic and witch in the same sentence is questionable. You know, but we don't really have to get into that. But once again, I gave y'all the definition of attraction and I gave you the definition of creation. Now, if you feel that you are attracting based on a synthesizer clock, so be it. I'm not going to argue with you. If that makes sense to you and that's what works for you, so be it. But I tend to go with creation over attraction because that just makes more sense to me personally. So, you know, how would someone be a satanic witch? But I get, you know, Because most people look at satanic a certain way, and most people look at witch a certain way. It makes sense on the surface, but you know, when you know a little bit more about Satanism and you know about witchcraft, then like those two terms don't even go together. They don't fit. But you know, everybody nowadays are trying to be a nice witch or a Wiccan witch. That's what most people are on. Most people are on Wiccan or Wicca. Most people know about Wicca. They associate spirituality with Wicca. You know. But again, you gotta do your research. You know. But to each his own. Of course we want to create, but how do we switch our subconscious to allow that knowing to come forth? Well, first and foremost, you don't want to create. You are a creator. You see what I mean? You see how this information got people's minds twisted? You are a creator. You don't want to create. You are a creator. You are whether you like it or not. Whether you like it or not, you are a creator. And you are continuously creating on a conscious level and a subconscious level, whether it's on autopilot or not. It's happening anyway, regardless of how we feel about it. So with that being said, how do you switch your subconscious to allow that knowing to come forth? You don't have to switch your subconscious. You don't have to do anything, honestly, because you're doing it anyway. The difference is, like I said, is that knowing comes forth when you accept yourself as a creator. If you accept yourself as a creator and you know and believe that, I'm not even going to say believe. You don't have to believe. When you know that, when you operate from a level of knowingness, there's no more questions in your mind. The only reason people still have questions in their mind about this is because they're confused. But people are confused because of all this information out here that's based in trickery. That's all the information did for people. It confused people. It didn't empower people. It confused people. Got people walking around here saying law of attraction, but they're creators. You don't attract anything. You create all things. That's all you have to realize. Just realize that you create all things. And know that in your heart. And you will start to see that reflected in your reality. But you have to know it in your heart. Remember, faith is what? The substance of things hoped for. Faith is the substance of things hoped for. Hopefully that penetrates into the subconscious. How do we have free will in creating when we choose a life path charted out astrologically? Hold on. I'm not sure. It's like you answered your own question, but I'm not sure if you realized that. But you answered your own question. You said, how do we have free will in creating when we choose a life path charted out astrologically? Well, if you chose the path, how did you not create it if you chose it? If you chose it, then that means you created it. Unless you're saying somebody else chose it for you. But if you had the opportunity to choose, that means you had to create. You created the choice itself and made the decision. That was all you. That whole process from beginning to end was all you. That's all you. You are the beginning, the middle, and the end of that whole process. That's all you. You are the choice and the decision and the question. All in one at the same time. You know? You already know. You expected it to be about rituals and witchcraft, but it wasn't. He named that to be controversial. That's exactly what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I'm talking about. That's what people do. They try to sell books off of controversy. That's just what you do nowadays. You see it everywhere. Like, because if you ain't sparking no controversy, then, you know what I mean, people not paying attention, right? You got to be controversial. Controversial. However you say it, right? You got to get people all in their emotions, right? Because that's why people will buy the book. Like, oh, what does that mean? I'm just not with it. I'm not with it personally. I don't feel the need to spark controversy. You just speak truth. You know what I mean? But again, you know, it is what it is. To each his own. Sorry if this was asked before and that is completely off topic. What is your opinion on tarot readings? If we got one with a undesirable outcome, can spell work change it? Well, coming from a person that does tarot readings, again, I do tarot readings. I'm just not advertising these services. But I do tarot readings. So from a person who understands the tarot very, very well, when people get a bad reading or a soul, right? Let me give you an example, right? Let me go grab one of my tarot decks and let me show an example, right? And we've been on here almost 3 hours. I don't know, you know what I mean? I appreciate everybody for staying tuned. This is crazy, right? Let me give you a live event you asked. I'll be right back. See, I'm pulling out all the tools. All right. So, for example, let me just pull up a little bit. For example, let's just say a person asks, let me see, what would be a, let's just say, okay, they want to know about their financial future, right? So they ask, okay, well, you know, what can you tell me about my financial future, right? And you get a card like this. Let me find a card that may be undesirable for most people because they don't understand. Okay, like this. You ask about your financial future and this card comes up. The Three of Swords, which is pain and grief, right? Which is Libra. As you see, Libra, the lower half right there, okay? So somebody asks about their financial future and that card comes up and they're like, oh, well, you know, what does that mean? They're like, oh, they get all spooky, right? It all depends on, first and foremost, it depends on the tarot reader. It depends on the tarot reader. So if you're dealing with somebody who's ignorant, or who's trying to mystify you, somebody who's trying to play the role like they're dressed up like a Egyptian sage, you know, doing all this extra shit, you know, trying to spook you out. You know, you're not getting a proper reading. For one, let me tell you how this works. You ask about your financial future. You get the Three of Swords, which shows a broken heart. Let me just keep this up so y'all can see it. Boom. Now on the surface, this look like a bad card. Like, what? I'm asking about my financial future, and it's showing me pain and grief. So that means my financial future is going to be filled with pain and grief? No. That's not what it means. At all. At all. At all. On the surface, yes. But a tarot reader is supposed to take you beyond the surface. Right? So what does this mean? This means the fact that you're even asking about your financial future means you're uncertain for one. For one, you're already uncertain. You're trying to find some type of clarity. But as I said before, most people are only dealing with their problems on the surface. They're not looking at how did you get there. They're not looking at, yo, what did I do? Or not even what did you do? What thought processes is causing me financial instability? Your thoughts are not organized, as we see. Libra. That's what you're looking at. See, people's looking at the imagery. They're not looking at the Libra. Libra is all about the mental, right? Libra is all about the mind. So that means this pain and grief is mental instability. Has nothing to do with your future being destroyed or your future being bad. That means, yo, these swords, because again, the Three of Swords, the swords is all about the mind. That means your mind, as we see, I believe this is ice. Yeah, you see you see swords with ice and all this ice cold heart, right? With the thunderbolt that's breaking the heart, right? But because we know it's swords and we're dealing with Libra, we're dealing with something mental. These are mental processes. So this is revealing to you what's going on a subconscious level. On a subconscious level, all this pain and grief is coming from mental instability. So the tarot reader is supposed to let you know, yo, if you keep going the way you're going, then you will have pain and grief. But that's not because that's your destiny or that's your fate. That's just based on how your subconscious is working right now. It's revealing to you what's going on right now. So it's showing you the solution as well. So the solution would be you have to better organize your thoughts when it comes to, you can say, emotional situations in your life. So again, this person may be in a relationship, right, that's causing them great stress. Or it may be their children, it may be their mother, it may be a family member. Somebody is causing their heart grief. And that's causing their mental facilities to go on override. It's overriding, right? Is they think, man, they're trying to figure this out, trying to figure this out. And in the meantime, it's breaking their heart, which is causing an emotional response. So now their emotions are all over the place, are all intact. So this is showing you the whole process of how all this happens. So because their emotions are not properly intact due to all the mental anguish, so the mental anguish, which is represented by the swords, is causing all these emotional reactions, which we see with the thunderbolt, which is causing this pain and grief, which leads to financial instability. Right? That's what that means. There is no such thing as a bad reading. It just reveals to you what's going on so that you can correct it, and it can give you some type of guidance to how to correct it. Not to predict your destiny and future is something that you have to go through. This is showing you what the problem is and how to correct the problem. You know what I mean? But again, you have a lot of people out here who just don't know what the fuck they're doing, and who's trying to play this spiritual role and trying to get people fucked up. So be conscious of who you're getting your reading from. Because if anybody's telling you that you have to go through something bad and there's nothing you can do about it, it's lying to you. There's always something that can be done. But most people are not really out here to help people. They just, again, you got people that just want you to keep coming back and coming back and coming back. If they tell you you have to go through some type of hardship, then the next question is, well, how do I stop that? Then they charging you more. Well, we got to do another reading for that, right? So they, you know what I mean? It's just like I was saying earlier. It's like somebody selling crack. They know you're going to come back 20 minutes later. It's a 20-minute high. They know you're going to be right back. And giving them more money and giving them more money. They're giving you this artificial high. Instead of showing you how to fish. Meaning they're giving you fish. And whenever something happens, now you got to come back to them and get another fish. Get another fish. Get another fish. Get another fish. Instead of teaching you how to fish, and you don't have to come back to them. But again, that's how most people run their business, by giving people fish. And once they get hungry again, now they're coming back, coming back, coming back, coming back. That's the problem. So from somebody who does tarot readings, this is what they're supposed to do. And if they're not doing that, then, you know, they're pretty much just manipulating you. You know, so that's the question, you know. That's what it is. Would you say this reality is some type of dream world then? So this is like a dream. You can at times control it. What the same be said about this reality? Read the book, The Holographic Universe. So for anybody who don't understand this, let me give you some literature, because that's what I do, because I read. So I can direct you to another source. Don't take my word for it. Read the book, The Holographic Universe, if you want to truly understand what's really going on here, because it would take a while to just break down the whole concept of reality in the dream world. Read the book, The Holographic Universe. It will give you an in-depth view of how all this is structured. But yes, this is an illusionary world. Yes, this is true. This is like a dream world. Yes, this is true. This is just a projection from your mind. Yes, this is true. But instead of me just saying that, you can go get further details into why that is and why that is said. So you don't have to just take my word for it. You know, definitely continue to do your research. You know, but definitely read The Holographic Universe. You know, am I still fasting? Yes. Yes, I am still fasting. All right. Thank you for recommending the Mystic Kabbalah is such valuable and well put info. No problem. No problem. It's all good, bruh. Yep. What deck is this? This is the Crow's deck. This is the Crow's deck. Y'all saying shit was getting real with the reading. It just is what it is, you know. Again, you see, I'm not on here advertising and like pumping my chest up. You know, I know how I do a lot of things, but you know, I'm secretive, right? I'm secretive, so I'm not just advertising. You know, it's not for everybody. So we've been on here 3 hours. Hopefully y'all gained some insight. You had to have gained some insight. You know what I mean? Ain't nobody else spitting it like this, trust me. So unless y'all have any more questions, we're gonna get up out of here. In the meantime, all right, let me just do a quick reading. I haven't did these, you know. For those who used to watch my older videos, I was doing tarot readings like every day. I haven't really did them because I can do other stuff. Because I don't need to depend on the tarot, even though I use it as a tool. Let's do a reading, huh? Let's do a reading. Just for the hell of it, right? Just for the hell of it. Let's see what comes up. Let's pull a couple cards. Let's get back into the dark side, right? Let's see what the dark side has to say. So let's see. So first card. We'll pull 3 cards. We get up out of here. Let me see. I'm at 28%, so we good. We good. First card. The Ten of Wands, which is misery and turmoil. Right? First card. Oh, misery, turmoil, right? Relax. Second card. What is this? Exceed, surpass. The Eight of Wands. So the wands, for those who may not know what wands, it represents your desires, the spark of life, your motivations, right? So we got 2 wands. We got the Ten of Wands, we got the Eight of Wands. Let's draw one more card. What is it? The Ten of Swords, which is what? Black, clouded. Right? Now this, this is a bad reading, right? You got misery and torment. You got exceed, and what is this? Surpass, and you got black and clouded. You see, this is like a bird trapped within its own mind that created their own prison, right? You got this spider, then created its own prison with the wands. Then you got this, I believe this is like an alligator creating its own prison and just emotionally reacting, right? So we got 2 tens and an 8. Now, we can connect it with the tree of life and all that in the Kabbalah. We don't even got to go that deep into it. But I'm glad this came out, because this would be an example of a so-called bad reading. You pull these cards out on somebody, they're going to think like, oh man, what's really going on? But as we see, even with this type of card, because again, as we see, this is Leo. The Ten of Wands is Leo. Also, the Eight of Wands is Leo. And the 10 is Gemini. The Ten of Swords, Gemini. So you got Gemini and Leo clashing, right? Okay, so let's break this down even further. So what is this whole energy with Gemini and Leo? So we know Leo is a fire sign, right? A fixed fire sign, which is ruled by the sun. So the Leo is a concentrated flame, right? That's why they say the Leos are, they like to be the center of attention, entertainers, big spirits. A lot of them may be arrogant, may have big egos, inflated egos, because it's like a big concentrated flame. They have a lot of confidence in themselves, so on and so forth. Now, Gemini, which is a twin soul, Gemini is a mutable sign. A mutable sign is like a spreading sign, a sign that likes to spread its energy, right? So as we see, let me let this go past. So as we see with this Gemini card, because Gemini likes to spread its energy, because it's an air sign or a wind sign, so it's like the wind, it's like a spreading wind, a wind going in all directions, right? As we see with this card. So you got the bird in the middle with energy being spread all over the place, right? Again, with this Leo, you can say the Leo, like you say Leo with the big mouth, right? But it's causing its own destruction, right? Because it's starting to trap itself, but it has no discipline. Has no discipline with its tongue. You can say an undisciplined tongue, right? Then we have this Ten of Wands, which is also another attribute of Leo. But from this aspect, we see that it's a spider. A spider is a symbol of Venus. It's all about creative feminine energy, right? But this creative feminine energy is finding it hard to express itself, because every time it goes somewhere, every time it tries to express itself, it keeps finding itself in a roadblock. So you can say this is unexpressed creative energy. This is overexpressed masculine energy. And this is, you can say, a polarity of the energies, but they are imbalanced, right? So here we go. So we put all these things together. Unexpressed feminine energy, overexpressed masculine energy, which leads to one creating their own self-prison, right? So that's on the surface. So what do you do about that? So all we gotta do is reverse it. So we see this unexpressed feminine energy is trying to find expression. So creativity. So again, a lot of people, again, like, you know, they may have trouble dreaming. They may have trouble, you know, again, hearing the voice of wisdom. They may have trouble being creative, expressing themselves, being sexual, being feminine. You know what I mean? But they keep running into roadblocks, right? How do you fix this? That misery or that turmoil, because it's like, it's, you know what I mean? It's like you're trying, you have all this creativity pent up inside you. You're like, yo, I'm trying to, you know, but you don't really have a vessel of expression, right? So you got all this creative energy, you got all these creative ideas, but you don't have a vehicle or a vessel of expression. So because you don't have a vessel of expression, it causes you to overreact. Now you're complaining about life. Now you're confused. Now, you know, I mean, your mouth is all your mouth is all on point, right? Not all on point, but your mouth. You allow your words or your emotions to get the best of you, right? So those words are creating streams of thought. That's why we see the electric pulses, right? So those words is power. But because you are speaking out of emotion, that power is being turned back to yourself, which is the end result is now you're black. Now you see the bird is you only see a silhouette of the bird. Now the bird is just completely lost. So they're not thinking like, damn, I did it to myself. They're not thinking that. They're just completely lost. They're just roaming around like a zombie, not knowing how they got themselves into the situation that they're in. So again, that's not somebody who has self-knowledge. It's somebody who is just roaming around, going through life, completely unaware and ignorant that they are creating their own misfortune, that they have indeed clouded themselves because they have blackened themselves to the true reality of who and what they really are. So this feminine energy, which is looking for expression, the only reason they will be looking for expression and can't find it because they are looking outside of themselves. So for example, you have all these creative ideas and you have this creative spark. The first thing you want to do is go out into the world and find a vessel. But the vessel is not in the world. The vessel is you. The vessel is your temple. You are the vessel. So because, again, you can say even people nowadays, they may feel like they have a lot of creative energy, but they don't have a platform. You know what I mean? They don't have help. They don't have somebody who can give them the light of the day. So eventually they just start, you know what I mean? They just start wrong. You know, it gets the best of them on an emotional level because like, yo, I got all this creativity, but nobody knows who I am. I don't have a platform to express myself. That's how a lot of people feel, right? A lot of people feel like, again, they're very creative, they're very unique, but they don't have a platform to express themselves. Therefore, it causes them to roam around in circles, 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 because they're looking for a vessel when the true vessel is self. Remember, we are placing things into the world. This person is trying to attract. They're trying to attract a platform. Okay, I need to think positive. I need to attract the platform to myself so that I can express my creative ideas. They're not looking at themselves as the platform. They're looking like, oh, the platform is outside of self. So, again, they're just roaming around in circles, 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 circles. And after roaming around in circles for so long, after roaming around in circles for so long, now they start spewing out madness from their tongues. Like, man, I can't find an expression. You know what I mean? Nobody wants to give me a chance. Nobody wants to help me out. So now they start complaining and they start getting bitter. You know what I mean? They start feeling some type of way about the world, man. This world is fucked up. They not, you know, they don't, the real don't never get the light of the day. They got all these entertainers that's talking about nothing and all, you know, they get all the exposure, but I'm trying to speak about something real and nobody wants to listen. Nobody wants to give me a shot. So now you start spewing all this out your mouth. These words of power, because now you really start believing that because you have become bitter in your heart. And it's now you're speaking your heart, which is now bitter, right? Those words of power start to create. So after spewing all this ignorance, you start spewing all this, and eventually, after spewing out so much ignorance, you completely lose sense of who and what you are completely. You become like a walking zombie, right? So just want to give you all a quick reading. It's as to why this happens, and this is the 85% of the population is going through those cycles. Trust and believe. That's how majority of people feel. Like somebody needs to give them a platform. Somebody needs to give them an outlet. And since nobody else is giving them an outlet, you know, they start to feel bitter. Like, oh, this world is corrupt. You know, they start spewing all that. So they speak it into existence, and it becomes their reality. And they become clouded in everything that they're doing. Now they're just, you know, the walking dead. Now tell me I'm lying about that. You know, tell me that's not exactly what's happening in this world. So that's what the tarot is supposed to do. It's supposed to give you insight into what's going on and a solution. And the solution is you have to create your own platform by placing it out into the universe. You know? No problem. You know? No problem. I appreciate all the thank yous. So, you know. Again, I do all this anyway. You know, natal charts, numerology charts. You know, all these services, whatever you need, I got it. So, oh, look at this. So, yeah, we're going to get up out of here. You know, we're going to get up out of here. So, unless y'all have any more questions, we end the video. But I know, you know, y'all done got 3 hours of game. So, y'all shouldn't have any more questions. But if y'all do, just let me know. Keep up the good work, you already know. You know what I mean? No question about that. Let me leave y'all with a Bible verse, because I didn't have this Bible sitting in front of me and I didn't even read from it. So let me leave y'all with a Bible verse and we'll get up out of here. I appreciate that, Marvin and Magi. So we reading from Jeremiah, the 23rd chapter, verse 1. Let's see what it says. Woe, W-O-E, woe to the shepherds who destroy and scatter the sheep of my pasture, says the Lord. One more time. Woe to the shepherds who destroy and scatter the sheep of my pasture, says the Lord. Therefore, thus says the Lord God of Israel against the shepherds who feed my people. You have scattered my flock, driven them away, and not attended to them. Behold, I will attend to you for the evil of your doings, says the Lord. In other words, it's talking about all these con artists out here. Woe to all you bitch motherfuckers who's misleading people, who's feeding people fish and not teaching them how to fish. Woe, and you will be dealt with because you're misleading the people, you're lying to the people, you know, thinking you're getting over. You know, you're making a lot of money, you thinking you're doing something, but all that's going to be taken from you because you're not real in your heart. You're not real in your heart. You're not really trying to help anybody. You're trying to make money. You're trying to put yourself up here and put everybody else below you. Woe to the shepherds who destroy and scatter the sheep of my pasture. Now you got everybody scattered and confused because you spewing out lies, which confuses the people. Now the sheep is all scattered. Now further in the chapter, it basically says the Lord will gather all the sheep up and, you know what I mean, bring them to their true justice. You know what I mean? But all these con artists out here, all these people who just, again, just doing stuff just for publicity, just cause controversy and all that, whoa. Because they will be dealt with. And again, because when you lying to the people, when you manipulating the people, you already know. Once again, I see you, Marvin the Magi, with the 1111 donation as always. You know, much respect to you, Bitcoin. This is a receive thing, you know. I mean, I gave y'all a game for 3 hours, which, you know, you ain't gonna get this from nowhere else. So I appreciate all the donations, all the support. Again, whether you got a service from me, whether you donated or just, you know what I mean, contribute. Hit the like button. You know what I mean? Definitely comment, share the video. However you choose to, you know, give back. So if you benefited from the video, just give back in whatever way you can, if you truly appreciate the knowledge. So again, I appreciate you, big homie. Once again, you know, we gonna come every day. You know what I mean? Again, you know, I'll be going through these phases. You know what I mean? Every day. So I didn't quote it from the Bible. That's pretty much sums up everything I was just saying. That's why I feel it's necessary to correct all the misteachings out here, because again, it's so many people out here thinking they got knowledge, but it's just they're in confusion. I see you, Sierra, with the $5 donation. I appreciate you. You already know I appreciate the give and receive as always. Always, I appreciate everybody who's been supporting throughout the years. You know what I mean? I'm doing this for 5 years. Y'all definitely been holding me down, and we're going to keep it going. You know what I mean? So I'm going to be right back at y'all tomorrow. Or if I don't see y'all tonight, I'll definitely see y'all tomorrow. You know what I mean? I may even break my fast, you know. But if you read the book, How to Eat to Live, you know, if you're going to eat one meal a day. You know what I mean? Don't be snacking all through the day, you know, eating all this stuff that's bad for you. So you already know. So woe to the shepherds who destroy and scatter the sheep of my pasture. You know what I mean? So definitely. So anybody you feel who's getting over on, time is ticking, you know. It's only going to work for so long. It's only going to work for so long, you know. So that's why somebody asked, why am I wearing this? You know what I mean? I'm coming through like a ninja in the night, slitting throats. You know, like the messenger of Allah, the messenger of God, telling me, yo, it's time for the slaughter. It's time for the slaughter. Correct this information so that people can truly be who and what they're supposed to be. And you see, it's pretty simple, right? I'm not saying nothing too complex. It's pretty simple. So yeah, we're going to get up out of here. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. I'll be right back at y'all tomorrow. Salute.